Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Top Rope Renegades. This week in wrestling, episode number 21. I'm Kurt alongside RK. We are back. Took a week off. I was preoccupied at the racetrack for a 3-day event, working my tail off, having a good time. But we're here. RK, welcome back. Episode 21. We're moving along here. How you doing?
Nice of you to join us, man.
Yeah, I apologize for missing a week. It was the biggest race.
You think you honestly think you have a life outside of this?
It sometimes feels like I don't. With as much wrestling as we consume and all that, not really. It's work and then settle in and watch wrestling. I'm kind of, in a sense, blessed that Thursday has become like a free day for us to have a day off since we switched to recordings on Sundays.
Well, what night does TNA play?
Yeah, Thursdays. I don't know if I can commit to that, but we did just get a little bit while I finished my dinner watching one of the matches from Victory Road. Speedball Mike Bailey, Zachary Wentz put on a absolute great match for the X Division champion.
They got two This Is Awesome chants. That's two more This Is Awesome chants than AEW will ever get.
Well, we're back. We got a lot to get into. It was the premiere week for the WWE on the USA Network. WWE Week, premiere of Raw, NXT rocking, and SmackDown coming to the USA Network. The news, the rumors, the innuendo, all that good stuff. Before we dive into the news, RK, I know you tuned in to a little bit of AEW All In or All Out. I always mix those up. What do you have from All Out that, maybe your opinions on it? I know a lot of people have seen the attempted murders of two individuals, but from what you watched so far from it, any comments?
Well, there's 3 very young children in the front row that I'm sure are permanently scarred for life.
Maybe a little bit.
Like, do they not give warnings out to these? Be like, hey, yo, we might try to kill someone tonight. Overall, actually, All Out was surprisingly, from what I watched, I got up to the Jack Perry match. Then I had to go fuck off to do something else. But up to that point, outside of like Mercedes and Sheeta, amazing card. Start to like all the matches, absolute banners. Probably one of the best pay-per-views from what I've watched. Like I think the only match I had left was
Swerve and Hangman. Yeah, they closed the show.
Yeah. So I mean, probably their best pay-per-view. Where like Double or Nothing was good except for the first half. So bored as shit, and then it was good, but tired at that point.
Yeah.
All In was a disaster as far as I'm concerned. It wasn't really good at all. All Out though, redemption. AEW's on a bit of a redemption story arc right now. We'll get to that. Get into our shows of the week with Dynamite. Oddly enough,
good show.
We're gonna have a different view on AEW this week, but they're on fire for 2 weeks in a week and a half, a week in a row. I don't know. Anyways, Wednesday's coming up a couple days, and I'm sure they'll find a way to bring it all back to normal.
Yeah, they did have a fantastic AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday, which we will get into. But before we, of course, get into those, also I just want to point out I'm rocking the Arsenal shirt. Shout out to Zane, our buddy we play like video games with, Chell buddy, FIFA buddy. He's a Tottenham Spurs fan. I'm an Arsenal fan, and I just wanted to come on here and say, suck it, 1-0 to the Arsenal at your shit stadium. The past 3 years, we have whooped your ass at your stadium. We own you. North London belongs to Arsenal, and Spurs are in the mud. And that's all I have to say regarding that.
You do know that you're not on the team, right?
No, I'm not. But
okay, cool.
Maybe you should take down the Vancouver jersey. You're not on that team either. So
no, but I don't sit here and pretend like I'm the one who beat the other teams.
Oh, I did. Me sitting here in Beech Grove, Indiana, sat here and watched early at 9:00 in the morning. Arsenal. My cheering. They heard me all the way in London. I believe that in my soul. But no, it's just fun. Shots at Zane. Even if he watches, I don't know. But love you, Zane. Tottenham suck. Up the Arsenal, and that is that. Let's do it though, RK. It's your favorite segment. It's my favorite segment. It's everybody's favorite segment. It is the news, the rumors, and we have 2 weeks news. RK is going to have planned here to catch up on since we missed last week because of me. I own that. But here, let's get into the headlines. Millions of people without homes, and Tony Khan is just burning them down for fun. This is, of course, noting Hangman Adam Page burning down the Swerve Strickland's childhood home house on AEW television.
And
Yeah,
yes, it was the same house that was in the video that he posted earlier that day. So anybody saying that it wasn't, it was. There's a lot of proof that it was. There's
yeah. There are people saying
people.
like,
There's actually, some people went as far enough as pointing out every little detail in the house that was in the house and on the second video. That's a little crazy. I could just tell by looking at it in the video that it was the same house. But I mean,
what was
good
it?
for
People
you.
saying green screen. It was a green screen. I'm like, no,
No,
it
it's the same
wasn't.
fucking house.
Chill.
They
But
spent a lot of money on burning down a house they could have given to a homeless family that probably would have burned it down anyways.
yeah, but to each their own. Uh, this is a direct report that RK had obtained about Thursday or Friday of last week. He got a article and he mentioned it to me. Tony Khan is planning to implement a hygiene test. This is for anyone attending future AEW shows. I know you got that direct release to Top Rope Renegades.
That's directly from the talent,
Mm.
like like all of them, even the ones that don't matter. They had a say in it too, which is like 90% of the roster the way Tony uses them. But anyways, nonetheless, yeah, they're just like, we can't keep doing this every week. It just smells like desperation and neck beards. like the sweat in those things is just gross.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that they're going to be handing out the travel size speed stick deodorants to fans as they come in because they can't keep losing people because the
Like
fans
would
don't show up much, but they
like
got to keep them.
95% of their fan base won't even know what that's for though.
Yeah, they'll probably like put it on their face or
Try
something.
to eat it or something.
Sunscreen. Yeah.
Like
Oh, it's a snack. It smells good. Yeah, it's supposed to. Put it on your armpits, please, and keep it moving. WWE will not be extending the contract for Def Rebel. WWE fans and their ears are rejoicing. We won, RK. We won. Finally, no more Def Rebel songs. Apparently, they're going to be going
I
towards.
thought they hit it out of the park with ego, honestly.
Yeah, what are they? They're going to mainstream artists now,
Mainstream, so I guess I would
allowing.
assume that the artists are going to have the the talent's going to have their choices of what they can use. I mean, WWE is going to approve it, but I mean, like Punk has cult personality, shit like that. So
Cody's from downstate. Uh,
downstates,
they're
yeah,
low. They're apparently I didn't know this. I think I mentioned it in passing. They're from Indiana. They're from my state. I didn't know that. So that was interesting. Yeah, we did win with that. Def Rebel have gotten a bad rap recently, so pretty cool. To have I don't know what that noise was there. Maybe on my end, but yeah, Def Rebel's got to go. Agreed. I think they kind of have overstayed their welcome, per se. I don't know if they'll bring in somebody to maybe manage the music. What do you think? Get a couple artists, make a couple songs, and then pitch them to the talent. I
yeah,
don't
they're
know.
probably. I think maybe they got a bad taste in their mouth now because I'm assuming they probably I would imagine the contract with Def Rebel is sizable. I would imagine.
Yeah, most likely. I miss the Jim Johnston days, but he couldn't do it forever. He made bangers. That's a video we're gonna cut eventually. Once racing season winds down for me, we're gonna play a little game on the channel and put it out on YouTube. We're gonna play a video on YouTube where they play like 10 seconds of a theme song, and we're gonna just guess and see if we can get it right. See how many we can get right here on the channel. So stay tuned to that. We got a lot of content coming. Racing season's coming to a close for me, so my time will be more open. We're gonna have some fun with stuff like that. But speaking of fun, RK, it's time. What do you got for the news, the rumors, and innuendo this week?
All right, so we got 2 weeks to get through here. I will try to filter out some of the less interesting stuff because a lot of interesting stuff happened and a lot of not so interesting stuff happened. So let's get right into it. PW Insider notes that Bad Blood will have an earlier start time than usual. Usually pay-per-views, PLEs start usually around 7. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're going to be starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time due to UFC 307 taking place at the same time. Bad Blood will end roughly when UFC starts up. To all those people who are saying, "Oh, look, WWE doesn't want to go head to head with UFC. What are they scared of?" It's like it's the same fuck. It's TKO. They own both of them. Why would they
Exactly.
want to compete with themselves?
Is
They just want to
AEW
have.
gonna run Rampage and Collision at the same time?
Well, they could group their viewers together and
Oh well, I didn't think of that. That's
look, we got 400,000 viewers for Collision and Rampage instead of saying we got 280,000 and 120,000. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, no, it's just TKO looking to make big money, having 3 hours of WWE, then another 3 to 4 hours of UFC back to back. That's just big money for TKO. It's business. That's smart. Ricky Starks, all the rumors that have been flying around that AEW pitched ideas to him, he turned them down. Didn't really want to work with AEW. There's all this stuff, rumors. Nonetheless, Ricky Starks went on Twitter and said he never turned down any creative offered to him by AEW. It just they haven't been offering him anything.
I think Ricky's ready to go. I think he's probably got his plans already booked, ready to rock and roll with WWE. If I'm a betting man, I think he ends up on the NXT roster. Which the NXT roster I'm sure you have it in your news coming up about plans for them, but NXT's they're building a third brand. It almost seems like it's in a sense to make it more appealing and not I guess say developmental as it is. I think it'll always be developmental, but it seems that they're going to be bringing in talent that's bigger named and to help build it on. So we'll see.
For sure. Actually, kind of leaning into that, a little side note. Nick Nemeth was recently asked if he'd be interested in doing any crossover stuff with WWE NXT like they've been doing, and he basically said, "If it's just go to NXT for the hell of going to NXT to have a match, one off, do this." He's like, "I'm not really interested. If they want to pitch a good storyline to me and make it interesting and make it something that I haven't worked with before or something like that, then I'm all ears. But if it's just to go there for a one off, I'm not doing it."
Which he technically already made the NXT run when he was still on WWE roster, where he went down, became the NXT champion, and then I think he put over Braun Breaker during that stint. So I mean, this could
Which
be
he
different.
did say in that interview as well. He's like, "Going, I got to work with Braun Breaker, and that kid is an absolute stud."
The
But yeah, it'd
world
have to be
knows.
something like that.
Agreed.
PW Insider has stated that there are discussions about doing a CM Punk versus Gunther program at Survivor Series for the World Heavyweight Championship.
That's intriguing to me. Could Punk win that match though? I don't know.
Could he? Yes. Should he? No.
I don't know. I think it's interesting if he does win it. The storyline, the Seth Rollins storyline's gonna happen, but maybe they're just waiting closer to Mania to kick that into full gear. But that has to happen. Seth Rollins Punk I think, is probably, how they do it. There's already matches scheduled for Mania, barring injury.
Well, Bruce Pritchard said it. Bruce Pritchard said it on his podcast. There, he's like going. Conrad asked him once, like, when do you guys start planning for the next year's WrestleMania? And he's like, the second that this year's WrestleMania is over.
Right. And I feel like it was supposed to happen last WrestleMania. You almost have Punk Rollins circled in for Mania coming up, WrestleMania 41. I think that's
well. Just make
that.
So let's say this happens at Survivor Series. Gunther, CM Punk. Seth Rollins been off healing, getting recouped, obviously for the big push for the next WrestleMania, all that stuff. The storyline with Punk that's inevitable. Does he come back at Survivor Series and either A, screw Punk, or B, help Punk to guarantee a title thing at WrestleMania?
I don't know. That's interesting. The question, I guess, to be asked is: does CM Punk, Seth Rollins need to have the World Heavyweight title involved in it? I don't think so.
Yes, 100% it is.
You do.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of heat there. I think Drew and Punk didn't need the title, and there is a massive part of me that feels Punk.
Well, I guess CM Punk said so much that he wants a WrestleMania main event match, not so much a title WrestleMania event match.
But I feel like your main events of Mania. I mean, even though we
has
did
to
have
be a title match,
we did have Rock and Roman taking on Cody and Seth. So I mean,
Yeah, but add that stipulations for the next night's main event.
Right. I liked it, but I didn't at the same time. I would rather that main event spot went to a world title match, and it's just I don't know, in my eyes, but nonetheless, we'll see what happens. I'm excited. There's so much, it's so much questions of what's going to happen, and I love every second of it.
Some contract news. I'll just rattle this off all at once. Asuka is reportedly re-signed with the WWE. She's been injured for this year, but she is planning on coming back late this year, early next year. No specifics have leaked on the contract, but it's long term. I love that. Asuka is one of my favorite wrestlers. Period.
She's still on the mend, right? And then it's speculated
Yeah,
she's out for the whole year.
yeah. They said late this year, early next year. Probably get her back at if she's ready to go. She'll reappear at Royal Rumble, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, for sure.
This guy's playing PlayStation over there. That's cool.
Nope. I
Okay.
was just moving a channel over so I could. It's on ESPN, just so I got something playing. That's all it was.
Okay.
Calm down.
Okay.
Let me fire up FIFA real quick.
Yeah. Fightful says that Shayna Baszler's re-signed a new contract with the WWE, which is good. She's kind of like the perfect employee. She shows up, she does her job, she collects her check, she goes home. She doesn't really, she's not your top, but she does her job. You know what I mean?
She's the person that you can keep in the mid card, and she's going to do her job perfectly. So
yeah, give her a story, give her anything, she'll work with it.
Yeah.
Sheamus and WWE are close to having a new long-term deal hashed out.
I couldn't see Sheamus in any other company, to be honest.
What? You didn't hear that AEW is probably going to sign him? Just
I
like they're probably going to sign Randy Orton when his contract's up? Get out. Come on.
And when you really stop and think about how long Sheamus has been going, it's kind of crazy. The highlights of his career that he had. I mean, I remember him beating John Cena for the WWE Championship. I was like, oh, wow, they did it. So, yeah, Sheamus is a WWE lifer. Hall of Famer, fair to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, he ain't going nowhere.
No. Cedric Alexander, he apparently re-signed a multi-year deal earlier this year with the WWE. He's probably loving life down in NXT, working with all the talent. So
Florida Sun, man, Florida Sun, Disney World, and sometimes NXT. Well, we'll see though. They're hitting the road with the CW move, but NXT times normally they would sometimes record 2 shows in a night, so then you got a week off to just work out at the Performance Center. You're getting paid, and go hang out in good old Orlando, Florida. There's some wild stories. I don't know if we've talked about them before from the times of Black and Gold era. EC3 throwing parties and such down in Orlando. Have you heard these stories before? I'll look them up later and I'll tell you off. But apparently it involved like EC3, the Velveteen Dream, some of the females. Nothing like bad, but just some wild nights down in Orlando, Florida from the PC Black and Gold era.
Been there, done that, man. WWE will be cutting back on house shows moving forward. Usually they've done 300 plus, like almost every day, basically, in the past. They're down to about 250 this year. They're looking to get down to about 200 next year. It's a TKO move. They're just removing shows that marginally make no money. They've already developed it. Like the shows, Vince was like on the road, get the brand out there, build the company. Well, you guys are the biggest wrestling company in the world. You guys will be for as long as you want to be. I can't see any company even coming close to what you guys do.
I think the only thing about the house shows and the live shows they do, it's just really, if I don't know if you've ever been to one or if you've just seen the videos, it's normally just a fun time with the fans. That's all it is.
100%. It's also a cheaper option for fans that wouldn't normally get to go see like a Raw or a Survivor Series, which by the way, every ticket starts at $626. That's nosebleeds. Not that the nosebleeds at Rogers is a bad seat. There's not a bad seat in that arena, but it's 600 minimum. So needless to say, I don't have tickets yet, but I'm going to get them one way or another.
Fair enough. I will say with the live shows, if you've ever seen the interactions fans have with Solo Sikoa, I wish we could get that Solo Sikoa all the time because he's actually hilarious at the live shows. Have you seen?
I bet a lot of the talent, but they're putting a character on TV.
They
They're
get to
playing a
cut
character on
loose,
TV.
and have you ever seen the video of Solo? Like the dude's like trying to shake his hand, and Solo's like, "Nah, I'll go." My favorite one is I think from when there was a little kid that was being held by his parent, and he was mean mugging Roman Reigns, and Roman, or maybe that happened on TV. I don't remember because I don't think Roman was doing many house shows, but mean mugging Roman, and Roman was like mean mugging him back, like, all right,
I see that.
calm down, kid. Yeah, I mean, house
Back in the
shows are house
day,
shows.
Shawn Michaels at a house show, somebody yelled at him. He was like, "How tall are you?" And he yells back, 10 foot tall when I'm standing on my wallet.
I mean, are they really making a profit from house shows? Maybe, but is it, a lot?
Well,
Probably
they
not.
said that the ones they're cutting out are the ones that have marginally made no money. So,
I got you. Like
so
the
unless
Madison Square Garden live show never going away.
that's happening,
So
that's a staple in the WWE.
right.
Hey, good news for Osprey though. He might actually be open to working in WWE now.
Yeah, you can handle the grind.
Yeah,
It's still a few more shows than AEW does, so maybe
still
not
a few, like
a lot.
150 more.
Like a lot.
That AEW doesn't do any live shows. They just have their 3 shows.
Yep.
That's it.
And they literally, what is it? Dynamite's live, Collision's live. Rampage is normally recorded with Dynamite.
Collision's not always live either because they record Collision after Dynamite sometimes.
Oh well, no, didn't they that venue they took over for Collision? They recorded a bunch of episodes.
Yeah, that was in Texas or whatever
Yeah.
it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh.
nonetheless, Mike Rome, you were asking about him just a couple weeks ago.
Been absent for like 2-3 weeks now.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
no,
been
I
off
see.
TV due to being on personal leave.
Oh well, I hope everything's all right with Mike Rome and his family. I like Mike Rome. He's
I do too.
He's been around for a while. Great hair.
That's a pompadour and a half, man.
Good hair.
When I read this, I laughed. This just seems like a wild stat. I mean, ugh. Anyways, Tony Khan revealed that AEW fans spend the most money per month on streaming video compared to fans of any other sporting league in the world. He also goes on to say that a massive percentage of the audience now consumes wrestling by reading the sheets, watching stories develop online, and following news outside of the ring and behind the scenes. They don't have a lot of fans to begin with, so how the fuck are they spending the most money?
My
Is
biggest
it like
issue
per capita
with
per
this
person?
is he is talking out of his ass. He said,
And
you may have to read it again. He said that they consume AEW, correct? Or is he talking about professional wrestling?
AEW fans spend the most money per
Okay.
month on streaming video compared to fans of any other sporting league in the world.
Okay, that's the one. Any sporting league, I'm sorry, I'm calling bullshit because listen, here in the North America, the States, Canada, and United States, we're not big soccer people, but everywhere else in Europe, soccer is the absolute biggest, most important thing going around. People pay a lot of money to stream those matches. I think he's just talking out of his ass. Kind of like
100% he is. I mean, the fact that he said AEW fans, so what, like 57 fans?
And the reason that maybe per month you're making more money, and I'm not saying he's still lying. The only way to watch AEW pay-per-views is you have to pay for them. And there's no streaming service is what I was saying, and they're not cheap. It's $60 every time you watch pay-per-view for them. So the only other thing I can think
but
of,
I think all in only had a buy rate of like 170,000.
But he's saying like streaming services, right? So what do you mean? Like YouTube TV?
No, I'm saying streaming video. So anything that's streamed online.
So
that would include all in.
He said they're paying for it, right?
Yes.
Okay, YouTube clips are free. YouTube accounts are free. You can make a YouTube account and subscribe to the channel for free. You should probably do that to Top Rope Renegades, by the way, if you're watching this video.
Best podcast around.
But It's free.
We're the most underrated podcast around.
TikTok, you can make a free account. You're not paying. Instagram, free. All your social things that you stream video on, it's free. So what the fuck is he talking about?
I've it's just Tony being Tony, man. And the part where he's like, more the massive percentage of the audience now consumes wrestling by reading the sheets, watching stories develop online, and following news outside of the ring and behind the scenes. Is yeah, they have to, because you don't progress your stories on fucking live TV.
Oh, you know what? I got one more point to add to the whole spending money thing that just crossed my mind. NFL season is back kicking in full start. There's a lot more people that watch the National Football League than they watch AEW. It's just true. Hell, there's more people that watch the NFL than they watch WWE. It's how it goes.
He probably pulled some obscure stat out of somewhere that is streaming views on a certain site that, like,
Bleacher Report.
on one site that only streams
But
wrestling and PBA bowling.
my point is
Like,
PBA bowling's on ESPN. The thing with this is NFL Sunday Ticket is like I have YouTube TV and I have to pay like for a Sunday Ticket I pay like 73 extra bucks a month. But if you were to like buy just Sunday Ticket on like the NFL app, it was like $140. There's a lot more people. There's a ton of people that I guarantee you shelled out the money to pay for Sunday Ticket, clearly making that more profitable.
Okay. We're beating a dead horse at this point. But hey, Tony Khan, we are challenging you to tell us where you got this fucking number from. Okay.
Right. There you go. Carry on.
PW Insider was told that Vince McMahon did not have any say over the final edit of Netflix's Mr. McMahon documentary series, which is set to air in 9 days.
We are watching that for sure.
We are. That is definitely a watch along type of thing for us.
Yeah, we're gonna get that figured out.
Well, it's actually pretty easy. It's Netflix. I have it on my computer.
Right. We'll probably have to link up and watch it at the same time. We'll figure it out.
I mean, just stream the Netflix onto here.
We can't post it.
We'll figure it out.
I thought you said watch along, so I thought we were gonna go like live.
No, we should do actually, we'll figure it out. We're gonna do a watch along on Netflix's Mr. McMahon documentary.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have commercials, so we just can go 1, 2, 3, start, and then we can make it work. People, we're doing a watch along Mr. McMahon on Netflix in 9 days. Schedule it in, people. It's gonna be a fun time.
Get your popcorn.
Conrad Thompson goes on. I said on Keeping It 100 that the Netflix documentary is an absolute double shovel burial of Vince McMahon, and the people at WWE are unhappy with it as it's a hit piece that they don't like.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. I know they don't give a shit about Vince McMahon anymore, but is it shedding WWE in a bad light? I don't know. This whole situation has made me. I don't think it was WWE had nothing to do with it, even though Vince McMahon was WWE. But I don't know.
It's interesting coming from Conrad. Conrad's a very respectable.
He hooked us up with the StreamYard thing. Shout out to Conrad.
Very respectable guy. It's interesting that he said that himself, that it's an absolute. So he's seen it. Obviously, he's seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. It's later down in my notes, but I'll bring it up right now. JR. Jim Ross said on Grilling JR that he would have been happy to be interviewed for Netflix's Mr. McMahon documentary, but he never was approached. He goes on to say, no one closer to Vince than me at certain times in my tenure. Right-hand man type material, but I never got a call.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't have. There's nothing holding JR
The dude
back.
was head of talent for so long. If there's anybody who knew what was going on between the talent and Vince McMahon, to be him.
Yeah, and he's not under contract with WWE, so there's nothing stopping him from answering that call and being a part of it. Unless, I mean, Jim's not doing too well. I don't know how that would have went for him, but it sucks. Jim Ross is the voice of my childhood, yours as well, kind of.
He's not doing well-ish because he was just on All Out again.
Yeah, it's still he's He's not the
He
same.
should he's not the same JR.
It's time maybe to retire, but that's not a knock on. I love Jim Ross. He is fantastic. Him and Jerry the King Lawler were amazing together.
By God, he broke him in half.
Puppies.
No, it's Lawler.
I know. I was being
JR
the Lawler
would never
to JR.
be that
I was being
disgusting.
I was being the Lawler to JR. Anyway,
Totally not
don't,
even right context of the time, but
don't take that anywhere further. Carry on.
Do you remember about the time? Actually, there's Jerry Lawler. Look, there's some controversy with him back in the 90s and the 80s. Go check it out. Anyways,
I've heard.
Since I jumped around, I forgot where my notes were. Okay, WrestleVotes heard that there are a few key figures within creative that absolutely hated the Giovanni Vinci angle on SmackDown.
You watched SmackDown last week. I obviously didn't. I did see that match though because it lasted 5 seconds.
3 seconds. To
Apollo, right?
To Apollo. Yeah. Anyways, unless the whole thing. I mean, it was done well, but it doesn't make sense why, especially since we were hyping up Giovanni for like 3 weeks, and now you didn't have him on TV the week after to even explain why you did that. But he was taking his time getting his jacket and track pants off, and the ref was pissed off. He said, "Fuck it, ring the bell." And Apollo did a quick schoolboy, and it was done.
Yeah. There was no mention of him on TV this past Friday. The only thing we had was a little social media thing with Kevin Owens trying to figure out who his partner was going to be for his mystery partner for his tag team match. And he's like, well, Giovanni Vinci's here, but I'm not tagging with him. And we'll get into that and a legend that was born on SmackDown on Friday, the great Ricky. We'll get into that when we get into SmackDown. But I don't know. You think they're going to retool Giovanni already?
I was interested in what they were going to do with him this time. Like,
yeah. You can. They
anyways,
can make something.
It was apparently a really good gimmick in NXT when he was doing it. So
we weren't watching it. I don't remember.
Anyways, nonetheless, already went through all that stuff. Oh, PW Insider says creative pitches are currently being made for Raquel Rodriguez's return.
Good. I'm happy. Hopefully, all of her health issues she was dealing with is squared away, and she can get back to in-ring work. She still probably got some unfinished business with Rhea, and her and Liv were buddies. So maybe she shows up about Bad Blood, helps out, joins the Judgment Day.
I don't know. Raquel's as a heel. I don't know.
She's been a heel before. She's been a heel before.
I don't know.
Former NXT Women's Champion, man. Raquel Gonzalez.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like
we'll
it.
See.
I like her. Don't like it.
We'll see.
Maybe. We'll see.
I think she married or in a relationship with Braun Strowman, I think, right?
No idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, this is news, rumors, and innuendos. So, Milwaukee Business Journal brings word that Sports Milwaukee is preparing a bid to host Money in the Bank in 2025 at the First Serve Forum.
First Serve Forum?
Fiserv, Fee-Serve, I don't know.
Yeah, he's with Never mind. They broke up.
Okay, there you go. Anyways, yes, Milwaukee, Money in the Bank 2025. Any thoughts?
We said Milwaukee. I mean, I've kind of been in the mindset where it's been cool seeing that stretch after WrestleMania with the events being international, basically outside of the United States. You know, Money in the Bank was in Canada. This past one was at Toronto. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not a fan of Milwaukee. I don't like Milwaukee. Yeah, that's all I got with Milwaukee's kind of a shit city, to be fair. But
heard it here, people. Kurt hates Milwaukeeans.
I said what I said. Fuck the Bucks. Go Pacers.
Wow, you hate an entire people because of their sports team.
Don't cheer for the Bucks, and I may have a better opinion of you.
I'm pretty sure not everybody in Milwaukee cheers for the Bucks.
Well,
Some
they ain't
might
got
be
nothing
true.
else to do.
Oh, they got the Brewers.
Bums.
Okay. You don't like beer?
I do like
They got a
beer.
lot of breweries in Milwaukee. I'm assuming they got a lot of breweries in Milwaukee.
That may be their biggest source of income because they're all drunk, stupid idiots.
Wow. Okay, people, Indiana, Kurt lives there. Go find him. If you go back a few videos and get his exact address.
I think
uh,
555
MVP 555 55 555 55
West
5.
Central Avenue.
MVP Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin have had recent talks with AEW about reforming the Hurt business there, possibly under the name the Hurt Syndicate.
Whatever.
Actually,
I like Bobby.
Bobby
But
Lashley kind of fueled a bit of a fire the other day. He posted on Instagram a picture of him holding titles and said the story is far from over. But most of the titles were WWE titles that he was holding.
He's done. I mean, he's not come back to WWE, but
why? Because Triple H doesn't like black people?
Yep, Triple H is racist. So
we on the other hand love him, so I especially do. Trust me.
It's true. Can confirm. RK does. It's literally factual information. Context clues. You'll figure it out.
Maybe a marriage will describe that one.
Yeah.
Not to a dude, a woman.
Got it.
A very beautiful woman.
Yeah.
That I love very much.
She over there holding you hostage right now? Are you good?
Yes. He has a gun pointed right at my head.
Just blink 3 times if you need help.
Let's just say, it's there. I don't even know how we're just going to move along. Matt Riddle told SI.com that he thinks the chances of him eventually returning to WWE are extremely high. Riddle cited CM Punk's current WWE run as evidence the door is always open.
Yeah, I read the report that I want to pull that up again. I think it made me chuckle a little bit. I think in that same interview, maybe he was asked about. You said it was SI, correct?
Yes.
There was a conversation. Riddle noted that he had a conversation with AEW founder Tony Khan, but that it was awkward. Riddle says that he talked to Tony, and he says, "I don't know if he likes me. He seemed happy. I wrestled Zack Sabre Jr. in Chicago. He seemed cool about it. I don't know. When you meet me, I'm very sarcastic. But when I met him, I was like, oh, you like that match? But I said it in a different way, and he looked at me all confused, and I was like, never mind, dude. And I just walked away. So that was my experience with that. So I don't think he's going to AEW anytime soon.
Tony is totally one of those people where if I was talking to him, like after 2 seconds, I'd be like, I gotta go.
Yeah,
I get it. I feel Riddle on that one. I feel that.
I could see him coming back to WWE if he's got his life together and he's cleaned up and back on track and doing better. Because he was fired not for weed but cocaine. So I mean, clean that up a little bit. There's some wellness stuff you got to pass in WWE. I don't think they are mad about weed, are they? I don't know.
I can't imagine them being. Bruce Pritchard. Bruce Pritchard is well known to be a pothead. So,
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't. I think that's fine. And hell, come on. This is the same company that just last Friday put Rob Van Dam as a special guest, in the crowd. We all know who RVD is. And Matt Riddle was doing the same stuff, but there was cocaine involved. So, if he cleaned it up, I could see Matt Riddle come back. I liked Matt Riddle.
I just feel like, hey, don't go to work high. You're good.
Yeah. Do it in your free time. Don't go to jail.
On Fightful's Beyond the Bell, Andrew Zarian. Have you ever heard of Andrew Zarian before?
No.
I'm guessing he's for Fightful. You follow Fightful. You think they're awesome. So
easy. I use them for my news whenever I have stuff. I haven't seen his name in any of the articles, but I haven't paid that much attention, so I don't know.
Anyways, Andrew Zarian said that a new deal between Warner Brothers Discovery and AEW is finished and signed. Zarian is 99.9% confident of this news.
Oh my God. I really want it to just fall through just to see the reaction and the excuses that come out of the people that have said it's definitely happening.
I
You
said
know,
it was 0.1% untrue.
yeah, there's a 0.1%, or like Dave Meltzer always says, the very end of his news and rumors is not totally sure, but maybe, you know, just in case I'm wrong.
Uh fuck. That just blows my mind. A new deal
99.
between Warner Brothers Discovery and AEW is finished and signed. I'm 99.9% confident.
Thought it was finished like months ago, but whatever.
I like that guy who Sean Ross Sapp said to him was like, "Would you like to apologize for what? I still haven't seen a contract signed."
I haven't seen it. Hadn't came out yet.
TNA's Victory Road event this past Friday in San Antonio is one of the highest sold ticket totals for any TNA live event in the United States,
The NXT
according to
rub's going
PW
pretty
Insider.
well.
I
We'll
mean,
talk.
hey, AEW gave them a great rub when they partnered up,
Did
right?
they?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
remember.
They gave him Kenny Omega for a
I
little
think
bit
that
and
was Kenny
won their title
Omega's
and
belt.
won their title
Yeah,
and
but
took it back to AEW.
we were okay with that because that was the belt collector run of Kenny, and that was pretty good.
Kenny's amazing. He could win every company's belt and it'd be totally fine.
Yeah. We'll talk about Victory Road here in just a second. We'll run through what happened on Friday. We'll run through it before we get into the normal schedule. But yeah,
It's good. The rub is real. It's WWE is giving them talent and they're having a great working relationship and everybody knows who Joe Hendry is now.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
For what it's worth, sources close to PW Nexus says the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley are coming to WWE NXT with their debut potentially happening on the CW premiere episode on October 1st in Chicago.
Do you know much about them? Have you seen their matches?
No, well, I know both who they are. I've seen them wrestle, but not as the Motor City Machine Guns.
They're one of the best tag teams. I mean, when it comes to legit tag team wrestling, people are like, "Well, why are they going to NXT?" Let them cook. All right, NXT, they're building something and a third brand type. It's no longer going to be a full-on developmental. It'll still always have the developmental aspect, but with the big names like Motor City Machine Guns coming in, yeah, you got Ethan Page over there. You're having CM Punk show up and do this and that, and I think they're building something bigger and bigger. You got Julia coming in, Stephanie Vacour waiting in the wings, Delta apparently. Uh, are those guys classified as developmental? Not really. I think their developmental is turning into those NIL offers and those collegiate athletes that they're signing. That's kind of their developmental, and they're still going to branch out and get these free agents and stuff and bring them in, set them on NXT and do their thing. But I think there's another tag team you're going to get to in a second that may not be going to NXT. Maybe a straight main roster thing. So we'll see. I'm excited for them. I think they're going to put on some fantastic matches. I need to see them in a match with Axiom and Nathan Frazier for sure.
Yeah, touching on what you just did there, the Lucha Bros are reportedly going to be in the WWE sooner than later, and they will be heading straight to the main roster.
Do it. But, I'm just trying to think.
I can't wait for them to feud with LWO or Legado.
I hope not,
Del
man.
Fantasma.
I think they need to get. They will help elevate whatever tag division they're in, man. They are so damn good. I'm leaving the door open for you to
I'll say this every time. Every time it comes up, every time. One of my favorite matches of all time is the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros in a steel cage. One of the greatest matches I've ever watched.
Yeah, and you think about the teams that they can go up against. I want to see the Lucha Bros versus DIY. That match will bang. But the thing is, think about the matches they could put on in NXT as well. So it's the tag division. I think is kind of meh right now in WWE. If I'm being honest, the Bloodline holding the tag titles on SmackDown is kind of like, all right, whatever. But they're not doing much with them. I think they may be defending them coming up the next SmackDown. On Raw, you have who has a Judgment Day, right? So I think they're defending them finally. But ever since those two teams took them in the factions, There hasn't been much action with the tag titles, so hopefully bringing in a team like the Lucha Bros can really elevate that tag division more.
If anything, it's just going to create some entertaining as fuck matches.
They're so good.
Wrestling Observer's Radio's Dave Meltzer. I love how Dave Meltzer is part of like 5 different sub brands of his own thing, and he lists every sub brand when he's talking for each sub brand. Anyways, Dave Meltzer says WWE's goal is to draw 1 million viewers for NXT's premiere on the CW. That's why WWE is loading up the show with main roster stars currently confirmed as CM Punk, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and The Miz. Yeah, that's about all I got for that.
I hope they hit 1 million. I just don't know if they will.
But if they do,
that'd be great.
That means their developmental third show draws more viewers than Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision combined.
It's because they put bigger names on it. It's called marketing. Learn it. That's how you do it.
Dynamite has big names on it every week.
We don't see half of them.
Well, you only need like 4 guys a week.
You just need Mercedes. That's all you need.
Osprey.
No, Mercedes is the one.
Yeah, that's why consistently all her matches that she's been in since she's joined him all got in under 3 stars. All of them. Every single one.
Hey, man. Not everything can be 5 stars.
And, yeah, anyways. Well, apparently Dave Meltzer think everything can be 5 stars. Do you see his all-out ratings?
Yeah, it's true.
But I'll give it to him. All Out was a pretty... Everything I watched, except... Well, even the Mercedes Sheeta match wasn't that bad. I just think, Dave Meltzer doesn't like women. That's all. So... I said it. The Observer notes that Trey Miguel was forced to get what we were told was unforeseen minor surgery 2 days before this week's episode of NXT. That's when Miguel and Zachary Wentz were replaced by the Street Profits in the NXT Tag Team Championship match against Axiom Nathan Frazier. That being said, at the same time, once they pivoted to the Street Profits, they didn't want them to have a loss, so they had the Bloodline come in and create a false finish.
Fair enough. It sucks. I really was looking forward to Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz versus those two, because that match would have been amazing with the talent that's in that ring and the athleticism. So, but yeah, I get it. I think I was hinting at it. I think the Bloodline are defending the titles against the Street Profits coming up. I could be wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. So it makes sense storyline wise. So I get it.
And last bit of news: Dave Meltzer on F4W Online's show this time mentioned, does he have too many shows? I think he has too many shows. I really do. Mentioned that Adam Cole was backstage at All Out and was said to be walking around just fine. However, there's still no return date for him.
Yeah, I heard the rumor officially confirmed by Conan, so I'll take it as you want. Britt Baker, Adam Cole officially split.
Conan talks a lot of shit sometimes, but he also does have a lot of inside info.
I do. I think we both said it when he said he was traveling back home to Pennsylvania solo, that the split had happened. So, it sucks. I liked Adam Cole and Britt Baker together. I love them both. Adam Cole, I think AEW will benefit from having him back if they do it right, because he's fantastic. I've been the Adam Cole guy since I know I should, all the marks would be all, well, you should have liked him when he was doing New Japan. I didn't watch then. But when he showed up in WWE with the Undisputed Era, that was my favorite thing of all time in NXT. So yeah, hopefully he gets back and does his thing. I kind of miss seeing Adam Cole.
Well, that just goes to prove the point is like NXT, WWE makes superstars out of people when they're just doing their thing in New Japan. If they'll never get recognized.
It's true. It's true. I didn't do it last week or last episode. The ratings, real quick, if you wanted to run through them. Note we do record on Sundays, so the Smackdown ratings from Friday don't come out till I think Monday or Tuesday, just because of the weekend. So I don't have those from their debut on the USA. But we do have Raw hit 1.43. Sorry, we'll just do 1.43 million.
They went head to head with Monday Night Football. Okay,
They did.
Calm down.
So there was a bit of a drop, but I mean, Monday Night Football is back. People love football. They did a 0.45 in the P18 to 49 rating. NXT did 628,000 with a 0.19. AEW Dynamite 716,000 with a 0.21 in what was probably one of their best episodes in a long time.
Yes.
So those are 3 ratings. I know we like to joke around, and I guess I'll throw them out there real quick for you. AEW Rampage did 233,000. There was not a collision, I don't think, from this past weekend because it's not on my list.
No, there wasn't because it was there was. It was like no, there was. Was there?
I don't know. It's not on my list from Saturday. Actually, that'll probably come out. I don't know, man. That's weird.
You're gonna have to record SmackDown's number from the previous week to speak on the show from the week before, after, beforehand,
sure.
into the future.
So it'll be there.
Events.
So basically, from September 6th, SmackDown, the final episode on Fox, did 1.7 mil. And then the Rampage on that same night did 233,000. We'll get all the other stuff coming up. So there's that. I expect Raws will be bigger than it was. I'm very intrigued though to see SmackDowns from this past Friday to see what the debut on the USA Network did for him.
Yeah, no, it'd be definitely interesting to see. USA typically has less viewers than what Fox carries. But I think with all the promotion and everything, I think
we'll see.
The number will be decent. But I mean, I don't think we're going to see plus 2 million on USA.
I think it'll be very similar to Raw. I think that is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, probably 1.5, 1.7 million range.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, there's the ratings. You got anything else for the news?
No, that's all I got for news this week.
Alrighty.
Last 2 weeks.
Well, we're almost about an hour in. Coming up, we're going to get into the weekly shows of Raw, of NXT Dynamite, and SmackDown. The debut of WWE Week. All 3 of the WWE main shows were on USA Network, and we will dive into that here in just a second. But first, quick little break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We are here on the Top Rope Renegades YouTube channel. I'm Kurt, that's RK. Time to dive in to recaps from this week's shows: Monday Night Raw, NXT, AEW Dynamite, and of course Friday Night SmackDown debuting on the USA Network this week. But first, as mentioned earlier, we did kind of catch one of the matches while I was finishing up my dinner. From TNA's Victory Road that took place on Friday. The match we watched was Zachary Wentz and Mike Bailey. I think me and Mark could both attest it was a fantastic match. Good watch. And yeah, what'd you think of that
one? Mike Bailey. I've definitely heard the name before. I thought I've watched him wrestle before, but then when I saw who it was, I'm like, no, I've definitely not watched this dude wrestle. Zachary Wentz is awesome. We already know that. But Mike Bailey, fuck, that guy can go. The moonsaults into the double knees just kind of like blew my mind.
Make you go.
That's different. Also, just a lot of oh my god moments in this match. Really, like the what was like a Spanish fly into a DDT by Wentz. That was
it was like a flipping DDT per se. He jumped over him, but
this is flippy.
Yeah, basically.
This
real
is
quick,
flippy.
I did want to kind of run through what happened. We are on the road in TNA to Bound for Glory. It'll be the 20th anniversary, 20th edition of TNA's Bound for Glory. I've watched on YouTube past Bound for Glories. It's kind of one of their big deals. There have been big moments from Bound for Glory, so I have no doubt that TNA Bound for Glory, which take place October 26th in Detroit, Michigan, will be a banger. So this is the final pay-per-view that they're putting on before that. We had the Hardy Boys in action taking on First Class, Casey Navarro and AJ Francis. The Hardys picked up the win there. The match we just mentioned was Mike Bailey and Zachary Wentz for the TNA X Division Championship. Mike Bailey got the win, taking the title from Zachary Wentz. There was supposed to be a match with Matt Cardona, Steph DeLander, PCO, and Rhino. That match got called off. DeLander has to get neck surgery. She's been, if you don't know much about Steph DeLander, she's basically what you could call Matt Cardona's work wife, per se.
There was a big thing where who was it? Pretty much said that Chelsea Green, Steph DeLander, Matt Cardona wears the Chelsea Green wears the pants in the family. Blah.
Yeah.
Go back.
Yeah.
It's from earlier this year. It's hilarious.
Yeah. So that match didn't actually end up taking place. Steph asked Cardona and PCO to solve the issues and said, "I will be back." PCO in story is married now to Steph DeLander. That was obviously, we don't watch TNA, but I saw little bits and pieces. There was a romantic thing with PCO.
Fuck, they got more story that I've heard about
They
in the
do.
last 5 seconds than AEW has had all year.
They do. Their biggest story, of course, is the system. JDC, which is formerly known as Fandango. Brian Myers, Leach Edwards, Eddie Edwards, and Moose talking about how they're going to walk out of Texas with all gold. Nick Nemeth, and he said he bowed to walk out as the fighting champion or something like that. We had a Knockouts Tag Team Championship. Spitfire defeated Masha Slamovich and Tasha Steeles. That happened. We had Joe Hendry taking on Josh Alexander. Joe Hendry picked up the win via submission with a arched ankle lock. I heard that match was pretty good. TNA Tag Team Championship match. The System got back the titles to the System over ABC's Ace Austin and Chris Bay. Jordan Grace defended her TNA Knockouts Championship against NXT's Wendy Chu. Jordan picked up the win in that one. Probably the highlight of the night was the father and daughter duo of Santino Marella and Ariana Grace reuniting backstage on TV for the first time. That made the rounds on the internet. It was pretty cool to see. Santino's a freaking legend. He's hilarious. And I think Ariana Grace has got her Queen of NXT thing, and she's doing her things with TNA too. The main event was Nick Nemeth taking on Moose for the World Championship. Nick Nemeth picked up the win over Moose. But after the match, the System came to help out Moose. JBL and Mike Santana got involved in this match at the end of it. So there's that. I think me personally, I'm sure you'll be down too. I think we got to catch Bound for Glory, depending on what the card.
I kind of want to finish watching this.
I think once we get done here and it's processing, I'm going to throw it back on. Keep watching Victory Road. But yeah, that's TNA Victory Road. Listen, I'll gladly ditch watching Dynamite every week if we can switch to watching TNA. I have no issues with it. But having an off day on Thursdays, kind of helpful. But yeah, interesting.
But if we had an off day on Wednesday, then it splits up the week. 2 shows, day off, 2 shows.
It does. But what are you going to get mad about?
Oh, that's
you
good point.
You going to transfer that heat to TNA? I don't know.
No.
I don't know. But with that being said, let's get into this past week's wrestling. Monday, September 9th, 2024.
We just might have to watch TNA.
Maybe. We'll see. This was the first show on the WWE Week pushing by the USA Network. We kicked things off with a street fight. The Wyatt Six, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, and Nikki Cross taking on American Made, Julius Creed, Brutus Creed, Chad Gable, and Ivy Nile. The Wyatts pick up the win. And what was people were comparing the street fight to the ones at All Out, but I think it's just different versions. What did you think of the street fight to open up Raw?
So this was a heck of a fight. It was a lot of fun. A lot of stuff happened. I'm so glad to see Nikki Cross in action finally. Everything worked really well. They had the crowd engaged. They had everything working. They had some crazy cool spots. Comparing this to what happened in AEW at All Out is night and day. One's a pay-per-view and one's not, so you can get away with a lot more. 2, the ultra violent stuff is cool and all, but I mean, if you're aiming for the largest audience, you might want to tone that down a bit. Clearly, AEW is not aiming for the largest audience. They're happy with sub 700 numbers every week, but that's cool. This was fun. Everyone was engaged. It was a good time. This surely ends the feud between American Made and the Wyatts, right?
We'll see. Chad Gable may have something to say about that. He's been preaching they got to put an end to him. I think we could get Chad Gable one-on-one again with Uncle Howdy. I think that may still be a thing, but we'll see.
The one thing that I would agree with the IWC is they got to figure out something with Uncle Howdy's mask. I'm not
the hair.
Yeah.
Agreed. It was announced that beginning October 7th, Raw will, we talk about this in the news, Raw will return to being only 2 hours between 8 and 10 p.m. This is saying it's not known whether it will continue on Netflix, but I think you heard otherwise, RK, that it may go back to 3 hours, but there's no...
Oh, it's pretty much almost guaranteed it's going back to 3 hours on Netflix, but they won't have a set time. They can just do a show. Right. If they want to go 3 hours and 10 minutes, they want to go 2 hours and 35 minutes, they can. Right. They just have us. They just they
do their thing.
Here it is. This is our show. If they can, their time could vary. I would imagine
it is, but you still have to understand that there's a live crowd and shit like that. So
stuff like that. They do lots of stuff after the show goes off air all the time.
True. Up next, Finn Balor. I don't know if you can hear cars racing in the background, but that's happening. No. Finn Balor came out and called out. I hear it. Called out Damian Priest. Damian Priest did not really want to talk. He came out ready to fight. Finn Balor said he had some things he wanted to say, including the fact that he is not a sidekick. Finn challenged Damian Priest to a match at Bad Blood. Match was immediately accepted. Judgment Day's Dom, Carlito, and JD came running out. Priest did get the advantage, and the numbers game eventually, of course, catching up to Damian. Rhea comes out to make the save on a crutch, but Liv Morgan beats her up with the crutch. She's still selling the knee. There was a cool spot where Rhea was in the ring, and Liv went to hit her with the crutch repeatedly, but Damian covered up Rhea. Jey Uso did come out to make the save. It's funny the pay-per-view is named Bad Blood because there's still a lot of bad blood in this situation. What'd you think?
Take away all the action part because that's just par for the course. Get some heat for the Judgment Day. Everything works well. It's building up for something. Let's talk about Finn Balor here. This is something I've wanted to see from Finn for a long time. It's like he said it perfectly. He has been relegated to a sidekick, and he has been for the last couple of years, and now he's standing out in the spotlight. Balor is that fucking good. He's one of their highest paid talents. Like,
for a reason.
Put him in the spotlight, and this guy is going to cook, and he cooked. This promo was fire.
Depending on how this whole Judgment Day versus the Terror Twins thing goes out, I don't know if it's possible. We've spoken on it before, but man, I would love to see Finn Balor with a world title again. Truly. That's just maybe selfish of me to say, but I think he deserves another shot at it because he did only hold it for less than 24 hours the last time out. Other than that, we got
24-hour champion in the history of champions.
Yes. Braun Strowman cutting a promo. He gets interrupted by Braun Breaker. This is a recurring thing with Braun Breaker throughout the show where he confronts the people that are in the Fatal 4-Way match coming for his title. He's just talking them down, saying good luck. I hope you win. Whatever. No free sponsors. No free ads. Up next, we have the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending against the Unholy Union. The champions retain here, Bianca and Jade. In what was, in my eyes, a good showing from Jade Cargill because she didn't do anything extra. She did the power moves, and that was all she needs to do, correct?
It's almost like Triple H listens to our show because I said this a couple weeks back is I could get behind Jade Cargill if she just had like the 5 moves of doom. Just let her do power shit. Don't let her do any of the flippy stuff. Don't make her try to do a springboard off the top rope. She's going to slip and look like an idiot. Just have her do power moves. That's all she did in this match. She looked good. And that being said, I don't like that they're Unholy Union should never lost the titles. I think Alba and Isla are amazing as champions.
I think Bianca and Jade should have just been solo acts at this point, but clearly Jade wasn't ready. So that's why he's still stuck with him.
If Goldberg could become like the biggest wrestler for a long time off of being a shitty wrestler, Jade Cargill can do it. I mean, Gunther says that, you know, Goldberg is his favorite wrestler of all time.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Actually, coming up here after these two things, Joe Tessitore informing us that Rhea Ripley and Batiste were transported to a local medical facility.
Can we just say how Joe Tessitore oh, you fuckers wanted to call me out on not knowing all the move names? He named every fucking move
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah, he locked
And he
in.
also called it a local medical facility.
Yeah, that's a Vince McMahonism if I've ever heard one. Um, yeah, Joe was. I thought Joe was good in his first week. In the second week, he continued. His voice is so good. I like Joe Tessitore. Jackie Redmond interviews the Latino World Order. They get interrupted by Judgment Day, and Rey Mysterio challenges Finn Balor to a match. But up next, as RK is wearing the shirt for the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart comes out, and he gets interrupted by Gunther. Gunther calls himself the best, and as RK said, Gunther says, "You know, you're second best in my book, behind my favorite wrestler of all time." And in this moment, RK said, "Ooh, say Shawn Michaels." Nope. He went a completely different way and said Goldberg was his favorite of all
Hey,
time.
either would have worked. Either would have worked.
That was good stuff. Sami Zayn came out, calls Bret Hart a hero, and then challenges Gunther to a match. Gunther denies him again. There's a brawl on the outside of the ring. Sami hugs Bret, and Bret has to be told, okay, it's time to get out of the ring. Apparently, Bret was sick. It was almost canceled, apparently, his appearance. I forgot to mention that in the news.
He was looking pretty rough.
There was something I thought I saw on Twitter that said he was sick the night before and it was potentially going to be scrapped, that he wasn't going to show up. But as the true professional and the legend that Bret Hart is, he powered through and it did his segment. So, yeah, Bret Hart.
Oh, and beyond that, Gunther is amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah, that promo, I was going to ask.
That was fucking hilarious.
That's why I don't know who beats him.
Gunther is old school, pure, getting cheap heat any which way he can. And that, like I said, I was saying Shawn Michaels, but you also even said, did you watch this before? Because you brought up Goldberg a lot. I'm like, no, it just makes sense. So
it did. As I said earlier, Braun Breaker was confronting all the contestants in the Fatal 4-Way No One Gets Entered match for his Intercontinental Championship. Confronts Pete Dunne, but after the confrontation ends, Sheamus attacks Pete and tries to hit him with a shillelagh. Also, can we give Pete Dunne the MVP award, by the way, just for he was in Canada and then he flew all the way back to Florida because he's on NXT to have his match with Trick, and he's still been doing the Monday, Tuesday thing. So Pete Dunne, MVP. It's like when Tyler Bate got hurt, he said, "I'm just going to be everywhere." So,
and he literally has been everywhere.
Literally.
You know, as he would say, I figured it out.
I just figured it out. Dominic Mysterio has a matchup next with Dragon Lee. Dom's going to pick up the win with the assistance from the lovely Liv Morgan, allowing Dom to pick up the win here. What do you think of Dom in this match?
I want to talk more about what the fuck is happening. No, I want to talk more about what the fuck happened with Dragon Lee. Wasn't he supposed to be like a big deal?
Yeah.
He takes nothing but losses all the time.
He had a good run on NXT for a bit, but he hasn't done much. I know he got hurt before WrestleMania. That was a part of the Carlitos storyline, taking him out. So I don't know. But Dom can take a loss, which is weird here. But
Dom could lose every match and it'd be fine.
But for the story purposes, he got the win because of Liv Morgan. So that part made sense. Backstage, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill get confronted by Io Sky and Kairi Sane. Those two should be the tag champs. Put them on Io and Kairi.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
We get a Bianca Belair and Jade sorry, I just said that. Up next was a very heartfelt tearjerker of a tribute to Johnny and Matthew Goudreau, Jackie Redmond on commentary, almost making both of us cry. Yeah, Johnny Goudreau, Matthew Goudreau passed away in the car accident with a drunk driver. That person has since then, I think he's gotten his sentence basically almost set. Not long enough, but Obviously, they were in Montreal, so it was very touching.
Well, if you don't
Sami Zayn came out with the Johnny Grudo jersey, but yeah, go ahead, RK.
If you don't know anything about Jackie Redmond, she was a sportscaster for Sportsnet in Canada here for a long time, and she did a lot of hockey. Obviously, it's like the biggest sit up here. If you don't know that already, hence why all your American teams are basically 90% Canadian. But nonetheless, I feel like she probably pitched this to WWE to do because I feel like this would fly under the radar of most wrestling promoters as they were the only one to do this anyways, period, in wrestling. I feel like she probably pitched that to creative and said, hey, let me do this because she probably had I guarantee you she has had conversations with Johnny Gaudreau in the past.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's sad. Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny Hockey Man. He's a fantastic player. Fantastic.
There's a picture floating around, and this is how good Johnny Gaudreau was. It was like a playoff game, and Johnny Gaudreau had the puck in overtime skating into the offensive zone. And as soon as he crosses the blue line, their goalie's already doing this. And then Johnny Gaudreau scored.
He knew.
He just knew. He just knew.
He was a he played for Calgary. Sorry, I said Montreal earlier. Calgary Flames legend. To be fair, where was he? He was playing in St. Louis.
He changed Columbus.
Columbus is where he was.
He's one of those players that changed the thought process of hockey, drafting wise. He was probably one of the first small guys to absolutely dominate. He was a tiny little guy, and he absolutely dominated. There was other guys in the past, but Johnny Gaudreau was a little different. He had a totally different style of hockey, and it worked.
Yeah, now you're seeing those kind of style players get more and more, higher up on those draft boards. I don't know. Is Connor Bedard comparable to Johnny Gaudreau, or is that maybe a little bit? They're both time, man.
Connor Bedard's better.
Maybe. We don't know yet, but yeah. I was thinking more so from like the size aspect of things, So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough watching hockey without Johnny Gaudreau. Sure, once the NHL season, the puck drops, there's going to be a lot of tributes and such for Johnny Hockey.
Well, Cole Caulfield, he changed his number to
13.
But he registered it too late, but the league gave an exception because Cole Caulfield knew Johnny really well.
As they should. Good job, NHL, for doing something good. Normally, Bettman's a pain in the ass, but that's a whole different podcast. Yeah, and just real quick, Bettman hates Canada, correct?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay. That's what I thought. The rumor has it.
No, it's not a rumor. It's true.
It's true. Up next, Zelina Vega, Lyra Valkyria, and Natalia, who was the mystery tag team partner for Zelina, Lyra, and Natalia.
Shocking. Right? Absolutely shocking.
Who could it be? They take down Pure Fusion Collective, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Sonya Deville. Did I read that right? Yeah. Lyra just got engaged. I guess we could have mentioned that in the news. She's been engaged, and Tatum Paxley's not taking it very well on Twitter. So if you want to go look for that, it's pretty funny. Somebody commented, I think Lyra posted the picture of her, "Will you marry me?" and saying yes, and like a fan commented was like,
in like the most cliche fucking way I've ever seen in my life.
She's married to a Irish professional wrestler, a guy in Ireland. But somebody said
we should have been wrestlers.
Tatum, somebody was like, Tatum's not going to take this very well. And she replied back to the fan and said, but little do you know, I'm underneath the bed. Okay. Up next, Drew McIntyre comes out and brags about what he did to CM Punk, but he confronts Wade Barrett because Wade tried to stop him. Wade stands up and appears ready to go if it's going to get physical. Adam Pearce comes out to interrupt and says, Drew, get in the ring. I have an announcement I have to make. And that announcement is that it will be CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at Bad Blood inside of Hell in a Cell. I'm pumped.
Oh, did not see that coming at all.
No, but I'm pumped. Hell in a Cell match. It's been a while, man, since I've seen a Hell in a Cell match.
Really? Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, maybe.
Was that 2 years? That was 2 years ago.
That was last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah, Cody was out for like most. Was it last year? Was it the year before?
I think it was the year before, brother.
No, it was when he first came back, 2002.
Yeah,
2020.
He came back at WrestleMania 38.
He came back at WrestleMania. He came back WrestleMania 2001.
Yep, 38, 2001.
2002.
2021. Whatever. He came back at WrestleMania 38. The tore his pec and had that Hell in a Cell match with Seth.
That's right.
And Seth had the polka dots going on his gear. I remember that. Came back for that Royal Rumble, won it. WrestleMania 39, lost to Roman.
Yep.
Whatever. But yeah, I can't tell you the last time a Hell in a Cell match happened besides that one.
What? 2022.
Was that the last one? Was that the last one?
I can't tell you the last one. We just finished talking about it for 5 minutes. I can't remember the last time.
You said he came back in 2001. All right, calm down. But yeah, I'm excited to see Drew Punk in a Hell in a Cell.
Fucking idiot.
But they're never gonna do the big stuff that they used to do, like throwing people off the top of it. But
that's unsafe.
You know,
unless somebody absolutely demands it, because I'm pretty sure. Actually, there's lots of Bruce Pritchard even said, he's like, yeah, we told them not to do that, but they went ahead and did it anyways. Sometimes, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? They do it, and what are you going to do?
Yeah, there's no Shane McMahon to jump off the top of a Hell in a Cell through a table. So
it's not even the craziest Shane McMahon moment.
Pivot real quick. What is the craziest Shane McMahon moment that you could think of?
Probably that 30-foot drop off the fucking Titantron.
Yeah, but that was into a safety area with trash cans and stuff. Still, I think it was the one.
Hell in a Cell's like 20 feet.
I think it was still the one with Kurt Angle suplexing him through the wrong glass.
Hey, there's a story behind that one too. Something to wrestle with, Bruce Pritchard. Listen to it. You get all these great stories. But yeah, no, they was supposed to be like gimmick glass. It wasn't, or it wasn't breaking. And so they did it once, they did it twice, and they're like, okay, guys, scrap the spot. And they just kept going, and they're like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Scrap this. And then he went through, and we're like, oh my God, he's dead. We killed him.
Shane McMahon was crazy. You know what? One of the funniest Hell in a Cell, like off the top moments that I remember. You remember? I think it was like Armageddon, and it was Rikishi off the top of the cell fell into like where he like fell into the truck of like hay. I was like, that didn't look like it hurt at all. Like that looks so safe. Or no,
I think the one where Mankind went through the cage, he went off the cage, Shane McMahon off the cage. Yeah. Those are crazy.
Yeah, that one when
that's where he got the famous. By God, he broke him in half. He killed the man.
The one where Mick went through the cage, he also went through the ring too, didn't he?
I don't know.
Like when he went through and then he hit the ring.
There was tacks in the ring. I
don't know. Dude was insane.
That's the one where his teeth went through his lip into his nose. Everybody thought he had a booger, but it was his fucking teeth.
Ugh. Dark Side of the Ring apparently coming. So we'll see those stories. Up next, Karrion Kross confronts The Miz. Xavier Woods shows up to tell Miz not to listen to him, and basically Miz is dressed in all black and he's going through a slump and he doesn't know what to do. So Miz is dealing with that, and Kofi comes up and says that next week he and Xavier will be challenging for the World Tag Team Championships. We mentioned.
Hey, it's good, Xavier. You're fine. You don't have anybody taking your spot anymore.
Yeah, Odyssey Jones got up out of there real quick. So they didn't mess around with Odyssey. As soon as the report came out, he was out of there. And
nothing substantiated, no proof, just nope. Later.
They can't mess around with it. Not with the Vince McMahon stuff still. Rey Mysterio taking on Finn Balor. Rey's gonna pick up the win by DQ because Balor refused to break up the rope assisted submission half,
which is so good. So good.
Would not let it go. And then he
attacked. That's telling story in a match.
Yeah.
That's saying Finn. That's Finn saying, "Yo, I ain't here to fuck around anymore."
Mm-hmm. That was basically, "Hey Damien, you watching? Because I don't give a shit." The main event was the WWE Intercontinental Championship #1 contenders match. Jey Uso Ilya Dragunov, Pete Dunne, and Braun Strowman. We'll get to the finish in a second, but the match itself, RK, what'd you think of this one?
Strowman looked really good in this match. I thought for a second there. No, actually, I never did. You did. That's what it was. I'm like going right now, but Strowman. I don't know where I'm going with it. Now I'm all confused. Back up, rewind, pause, cut it there, delete that part, listen to this part. Anyways, no, I'm kidding. Don't actually do it. No.
And
Or
what?
not. Okay, cool. Okay. So, what did I think of that match, Kurt? I will tell you what I thought of that match.
Yeah.
Ilya, Pete Dunne, and Jey Uso. At one point, I'm like, any one of these three could win it. Honestly, makes sense. The match was going in that direction too. You didn't really quite know. Of course, you're leaning towards Jey, but it felt like Ilya or Pete could win it too. Then you're like, Braun could probably win it too. And I'm like, could he? And then he did a whole bunch of crazy shit. I'm like, well, maybe actually he could. But overall, what I'm trying to get at is this match was actually really fucking good.
Yeah. Braun got taken out of the match because a returning Bronson Reed did a massive tsunami out of nowhere through the announce table, which was actually insane.
Absolutely insane because you didn't even see it coming. They just like
no, out of nowhere, good camera work. Boom through the table. The winner though, Jey Uso. We got Jey Uso taking on Braun Breaker for the IC title. I don't know if that match is coming up like next week or if that's a bad blood match.
It's Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer said that it won't be a bad blood.
Fuck Dave Meltzer. He's a douchebag. Anyway,
still confirmed. Has not changed.
Still confirmed. But Jey picking up the win.
Well, all I can say is Rikishi's gonna have some stuff to talk about online.
He's gonna be happy. He's finally gonna be happy.
He's gonna be very upset when
yeah.
Jey loses to Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I just don't see which. Now, what I pitched was because I'm such a Braun Breaker fan. I was like, screw it, Jey can beat him. Then Braun Breaker can just go beat Gunther.
You'd have to have it lined up already to look like that. Right now, it'd be a bit of a blow to Breaker.
When do you think Braun Breaker wins a world title? Post WrestleMania?
Probably like SummerSlam next year somewhere.
Yeah, I can see it. But it's happening. It's happening. He's fantastic. So I am excited for Jey and Braun. I think it'll be a good match. And just a random note we both noticed when we were watching it. What was it at the end of Raw or was it? I don't know, maybe it was SmackDown. Never mind. But I'll just mention it now. At the end of SmackDown, it had they pop up the trademark logo, and then it popped up executive producers. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I don't know if it did it on Raw. I don't remember, but I think it was SmackDown. I don't remember which one it was, but it popped up executive producers.
It was on SmackDown.
Yeah, well, and it said like Paul Triple H Levesque and Lee Fitting. I was like, that's new. Okay.
I didn't say Paul Triple H Levesque. It just said Paul Levesque.
Yeah, sorry. It's just naturally for me to say that. But anyway, that was Monday Night Raw. Pretty good Raw. Building up some stuff per usual. And it was a good way to kick off the WWE on the USA Network week. With that being said,
all I gotta say is, you know what WWE needs to do? They need to have like 5 months of really bad shows in a row, and then when they have a good show, it looks like they just put on the most amazing show ever. That's the tactic that should be wrestling from now on. Yeah, 5 months of shit, one good show. 5 months of shit, one good show. Those 2 shows a year will look at the biggest shows in the history of wrestling.
Because the WWE is just used to doing pretty good every week. So,
well, they're just they're just killing it every week. It gets boring, doesn't it? Them being awesome every week. Must suck to be awesome every week.
Yeah, that's true. Up next, though, we got to transition over to NXT, the black and gold brand, ready to rock and roll. On this episode, we had the last man standing match between Pete Dunne and Trick Williams for the number 1 contenders shot at Ethan Page. We have the NXT tag title bout, and Julia makes her in-ring debut on NXT. So let's kick things off first by RK. Switch your light.
I don't want to.
Gotta go
I
cold.
don't want to. I
I
don't
like
want
the
to.
cold. I like the cold.
I don't want
Anyway,
to.
did you go? Anyway, so
What?
we kick.
What's your problem now? I
Just
switched it.
Just joking around, man.
Jesus Christ, you're.
We kick things off with the NXT Tag Team Championship match. Axiom and Nathan Frazier, the champions, defending against the Street Profits. We basically already talked about this in the news. As RK mentioned, the injury to Trey Miguel caused the Street Profits to take their place in this match, ending in a no contest with the interference by the Bloodline. We finished things off with Jacob Fatu hitting a swanton bomb on Angelo Dawkins. We kind of already talked about this, but what did you think of the no contest thing with the Bloodline?
Man, this match really got going near the end. Like they were starting to hit all their moves and shit, which you expect from these four. They're all amazing. Angelo Dawkins is actually very deceptively athletic. Deceptively athletic.
He doesn't get as much love. Everybody loves Montez, but Angelo doesn't get as much love as Montez, and I think it's undeserving. He's good. Angelo's really good.
He is good. Very good. But nonetheless, yeah, this makes perfect sense because you don't want Street Profits to lose, but you don't want them winning the titles either, the NXT titles. So what else are you gonna do? But it was kind of wild seeing Bloodline showing up on NXT.
Yeah.
And honestly, Bloodline 2.5 looks way better than 2.0.
They looked really good without Solo. Even fucking Tongalova. I was like, oh wait.
Even Tonga looked fucking. He had his shirt off and everything too, which is never ever.
Yeah. Next, we got a couple of vignettes to go through. We had a vignette of
he's probably in the back. He got his pump. He's like, oh damn. Okay. No, I look good. We're taking the shirt off, boys. Taking it off. Okay, we're tarps off. Let's go.
Yep, let's do it, boys. We get a couple of vignettes. Tony D'Angelo paying off someone backstage to take care of Obafemi later in the night. Mystery opponent for Oba. Speculation ran wild of who's it gonna be. Guesses were stemming from. We had Omos. Keith Lee was one that I threw out there for no reason, and a couple other ones. But we'll get to who it was here in just a second. We get the vignette for Julia ahead of her match against Chelsea Green, which we'll get to right now. Of course, Julia's got to pick up the win in her debut over Chelsea Green with a Northern Lights bomb. But the match itself wasn't bad. Chelsea Green is a MVP every week. And what did you think of Julia's debut on WWE television in NXT?
Garbage. She had to tone down her style so much that it doesn't look damaging anymore. I knew it was going to happen. I said it to all the dirt sheets. She's going to have to tone down her style. It's not going to work in NXT. Nobody's going to work with her. And which was complete bullshit because this match was awesome. Chelsea Green is amazing. Julia is everything as advertised. She hit hard. She looks strong. Chelsea Green's the right opponent because Chelsea Green is so good that she can literally work with anybody. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a straight up squash match for Julia, so it made her look like she had to work for the match. Julia feels like a star already. This was a fun match. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't a 5-star banner, but it did exactly what it had to do, and it looked good.
I kept saying it. Julia might be my number one female wrestler right now. I mean it. She looks great. Her in-ring's great, and she's got that word that the kids throw around. She's got the aura about her. Something I love everything about Julia. And
I started that.
Aura?
Yes.
I'm not gonna do this with you. I'm gonna let you have it. RK started Aura. But I love Julia.
It wasn't even in the dictionary until I said it.
That's fair. I'm a big fan of Julia. She's elevated to potentially she's number one. She's number one in my heart. In my mind, she's number one. Big fan of Julia. Up next,
you didn't even know who she was before she signed with WWE.
That's not true. That's not true. RK, you can attest to that because we both watched her and we both said, "Damn, she's pretty good."
You wouldn't even know who she was if she wasn't in WWE because you're just a WWE mark and you don't even know any name.
Yeah, you didn't see her, Matt. Shut up, bitch. That's the sounder I need. The Rock saying, "Shut up, bitch." Um. Anyway, Trick Williams' interviews where he promised to show Pete Dunne that you've always been a butch. Trick Williams dropped a song if you want to check it out on Apple Music. Basically, it's a diss track on Pete Dunne calling him a butch, and now there's dance videos of people dancing to it and all sorts of stuff. TNA Knockouts champion Jordan Grace is in the house, cutting a promo ahead of her match, asking NXT to bring their best. Get a vignette of Lexus King getting a haircut while talking about his greatest hits in NXT, bragging about all this, and then bragging about his beard. His beard did look wicked.
Dude, so many people, assumingly people that can't grow facial hair, or if they do, it's all on the neck. Hated said that's not real. Dude, that is a clean fucking cut beard. Yeah, it's dyed and it's tight, but those lines, that barber is unreal. That beard is tight.
And then out of nowhere, he gets socked in the mouth by Oro Mensah. I assume we're gonna get something set up for that in the future. Kalani Jordan is talking to Lola Vice backstage, saying she's excited for whoever is going to challenge Jordan Grace. Fatal Influences, JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and Jasmine Nix make fun of everyone in the locker room before they get kicked out in arguments and such. Up next, the NXT Heritage Cup Championship match. Charlie Dempsey putting it on the line against Javon Evans. Charlie's going to retain the Heritage Cup here in round 5, winning 2 falls to the 1. But the finish came because of returning Tavion Heights back from Japan, hit a spinning belly suplex on Evans while the ref was distracted, allowing Dempsey to pick up the second fall and win. Still not a big fan of these Heritage Cup matches. I don't know about you.
I don't know what it is about them. The action's good. Charlie Dempsey's good. Javon Evans is good. Tavion Heights coming back is what kind of saved this whole match. But something about the format, how it works, it just seems like they try to stretch it out longer than they should because they're like, well, we can't have every match end in 2 rounds, so we got to stretch it out and make it seem like a big fucking thing. But it just kind of gets stale after like the first 2 rounds. So I don't know. It's the format. It's weird. I don't like it.
Up next, we get a vignette, a really good vignette that is narrated by Rosemary, basically saying that she and Wendy Chu are going to be using tonight's NXT as a warning to Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley. And if I'm not mistaken, sorry to backtrack a little bit, at Victory Road, I may have been left out of my notes. Rosemary attacked Jordan Grace after her victory because she beat Wendy Chu, obviously. NXT champion Ethan Page was interviewed backstage where he said he would pick up the scraps out of whoever wins between Trick Williams and Pete Dunne later tonight. Obafemi goes to the ring and waits for his mystery opponent that has been paid off by the Don of NXT. It is Alexander Hammerstone from TNA. But Hammerstone, as big and as strong and as good as he is not enough to take down the ruler, Obafemi. Oba picks up the win with the pop-up power bomb. This was what do they call it? It was a meat, or was it not? Is it? Because the Hammerstone's
meat is 2 fat dudes going at it, man.
This was 2 jacked dudes going at it.
This was 2 very large human beings fighting. For a guy that looks as menacing as Hammerstone, he did not get a lot of offense in this match. I don't know how I felt about that. But what it does do is make Oba look like an absolute beast and makes us ask the same question we ask every week. Who the fuck is going to beat this guy?
I have no idea. I thought Duke Hudson should have been the guy, to be honest. The only one I can think of is Ridge Holland right now, with the new Ridge being back to the Dickhead Ridge. But I don't know, man. I don't know who beats Obafemi. Goldberg.
Yeah, if Obafemi never wants to wrestle again, he'll wrestle Goldberg. Jesus Christ. What you're trying to do is get every NXT roster legend destroyed on live TV.
Hank and Tank confront Robert Stone and Stevie Turner, demanding a match against the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I'm pretty sure that match will be happening on the next episode of NXT. Duke Hudson cuts a promo backstage with Thea Hale and Riley Osborne at his side, wishing well wishes to Andre Chase, who's still in the hospital. And Duke promises to give Ridge Holland a Chase U-sized ass whooping in honor of Andre Chase. We'll get to that match.
Duke, man, Duke Hudson. This guy's legit. That promo was fire. If this guy doesn't make the main roster one day, it blows my mind. He's got the look, he's got the size, he's got the charisma, he's got the move. He's a good rep. He's got all the tools. This guy should make the main roster one day.
Jada Parker met with Lola Vice, who was looking for Fatal Influence, but did not need help. Parker said she wanted none of it, and she'll deal with Vice later. This is Jada walking around with a baseball bat, apparently just looking to beat some ass. The match next is Ridge Holland, Duke Hudson, taking on each other in a grudge match from the blow off that happened at the last pay-per-view, No Mercy. Correct? Yeah, No Mercy. Ridge is going to pick up the win with the Redeemer DDT, and he continued to destroy Duke Hudson after the match, tossing him through a barricade, slamming a barricade on him, all while Thea Hale cried and pleaded with Ridge. Middle of the match, Riley Osborne actually got caught up in a bit of a we still couldn't really determine if that was legit ankle injury or what.
I think we looked at it a few times and we came to the determination. It looks like it's story based
because he was helped to the back, so he was out of the way for Ridge to beat down Duke. So it kind of made sense there from a story. It looks like next week on NXT, it's going to be the final Chase U member Thea Hale versus Ridge Holland in one-on-one match action. So
she could win.
She can take him. She can take it.
Nonetheless, this is good. It's too early to get the redemption, the revenge against Ridge. Right. We're probably going to have to wait for Andre Chase to come back for that. Andre Chase, with the whole group back together, they'll find a way to triumph over the evil Ridge Holland. Where do they go with Ridge?
I don't know.
I don't know if I like this move. I don't like this move. I like the move of the redemption coming back, helping Chase.
I think it was
going right back into the heel.
I think it was too soon. Too soon. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, though.
It was quick. It was probably one of the quickest flip flops I've ever seen in wrestling in a while.
Yeah, it was. Pete Dunne cuts a promo.
I thought I was watching Swerve Strickland out there for a second.
Pete Dunne cuts a promo with a black eye that he somewhere got in the Fatal 4-Way match on Monday Night Raw. Says he's been scrapping all of his career, and he promised he would continue to do so tonight. Wes Lee reveals he injured Trey Miguel to sideline him from tonight's match, and then he challenged Zachary Wentz to a street fight that will be taking place on the debut on the CW October 1st. Zachary Wentz versus Wes Lee in a street fight in Chicago.
That's gonna be so fucking good, man.
They already had a banger. Now it's a street fight, so who knows what those two are going to come up with. Up next, TNA Knockouts Championship Open Challenge. Jordan Grace is on NXT.
Whoa. You missed the part where Jordan Grace ran into Julia and they had a little quick stare down, and it was just like, that could fucking happen.
That could happen. So yeah, that happened. Open challenge was issued, and the one to answer it was not who I thought. I thought it was going to be Lola Vice from the backstage interactions. It was nobody we saw. It was Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka is going to be challenging Jordan Grace. They put on a pretty good match here, but it ends in disqualification because of Wendy Chu and Rosemary. They attacked Jordan Grace, ending the match in disqualification. Besides the ending of that, what'd you think of Jordan Grace and Sol Ruka?
I mean, again, you don't want Jordan Grace to straight up lose per se, but you can't switch the titles, but you don't want her to look weak. So this was worked perfectly how it should have.
And you don't want to bury Soul.
No.
In like a
so this is just a typical, we don't want to hurt anybody in this match, so let's have a DQ finish. Good match. This was looking. All I keep getting from this is, as soon as Grace can, she's signing with WWE. She's gonna be on the WWE roster as soon as she can be.
I think if she signs with WWE, I don't think she does NXT.
No, she goes straight to the main roster.
I think so. We'll see. I think that's gonna happen. What is her contract up in January? Maybe
something like that. I think we went over it a few episodes back. I think it's January or maybe March. One of the two.
Up next, Lyra Valkyria, Tatum Paxley are talking about Paxley's action figures and dolls in the Playhouse. To which Lyra responds by saying, "Let's focus on Wendy Chu and Rosemary. That match will be happening next week."
This works unbelievable. This version of Lyra playing like the
Sentimental
friend
babyface.
it works with this. I haven't been a huge Lyra fan, but I really like what she's doing here with Tatum. I like it a lot.
NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez interrupts Ava. She was having a conversation with Julia and her what's the word we're looking for here? Funaki's there as the translator. Before Julia says,
"You're probably looking
English,
for the word interpreter,
translator, interpreter, whatever." Julia says she understands.
Well, I can't believe that you would have been fumbling to look for the word translator. Like the most.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for your help. Julia says she understands that Perez is scared of her. Julia's got some pretty good English. Apparently, she's been studying English. She started like really focusing on it 5 months ago. So, not bad for someone that's been studying the English language. Apparently, the English language is like hard, I guess.
Yeah, if you ever actually sat down and looked at the actual words of the English language, it's fucked up.
It is compared to
other there, and there. Like we have so many things that are like there, and there. Makes no sense. I German, which I speak. Most languages have, and don't anybody get this twisted. This isn't some big. It's just fact. Female nouns, male nouns, and they have certain ways of saying things in the male superlative and the female superlative. And when you say it works, it all works. It all bases itself perfectly. Whereas the English language, we have there.
Yeah.
So like so many two and two. Like, why do we have so many words that sound the same, mean different things, but spelled differently? But it's English is one of the hardest languages to learn.
So yeah, for 5 months,
there's no like set rules to the English language.
Up next, Ashante Adonis confronts Eddie Thorpe backstage, calling him a hypocrite for hanging out with female members of the NXT roster. Okay. Last man standing match to close the show. Trick Williams taking on Pete Dunne in what was a pretty damn good last man standing match. Finish came. They went up top on that little, I guess, stanchion area that sits right above the announcer's desk or whatnot. They both fell off of it, hit a couple moves. Ethan Page came out and pleaded with Pete Dunne to get up because he did not want to face Trick Williams. But Trick Williams is going to pick up the win and will challenge Ethan Page for the NXT title. It's not in my notes. Did Ava come out and say that was happening on the first episode of the CW, I think? So
what's that?
Trick versus Ethan Page.
No, all she did was she was on the phone with CM Punk, who will be.
That's right. In on NXT this week.
This week, tomorrow.
So
no. Tuesday.
No,
it'll be tomorrow when this video drops out.
Yeah.
Well, it is tomorrow. It's already tomorrow for you.
Yeah, stop it. Just English sucks. But yeah, so Trick Williams, Ethan Page, what do you think of the match? And looking forward to Trick and Ethan one-on-one?
Match was great. Match was fantastic. Ethan Page is just so good, but Trick continues to grow as a wrestler.
That was my biggest concern. Is in-ring needed work, and it's getting better.
It's getting better. He's learning his pacing a lot better. It felt like in the past matches, from what we've watched, he always seems like he rushes everything, but he's learning pacing a lot better. Ethan Page is just good, period. The big takeaway from this is I did not like the ending. Trick Williams literally just popped up and then he won the match. It's just like could have struggled to get up something. He just went through a fucking table with Ethan. Like, you're not just gonna pop up, but
he wanted it more.
But make it look a bit more realistic.
But Ethan Page, Trick Williams, NXT Championship. I think that is happening on the first episode of the CW when they move to the CW in
Probably.
Chicago.
I would imagine so. They're treating it like a pay-per-view, so
that's NXT. Let's keep things moving to what is surprisingly, potentially, it is not potentially. It has been it was, in our opinion, the best episode of Dynamite in a very, very long time.
That is very safe to say. I mean, it's a low bar that was set, but
Yeah, true.
yes,
September 11th, 2024, AEW Dynamite.
never forget.
Never forget.
What
Thank you.
we as Canadians respect that date. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We kick things off with Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley and his new, which is it's fantastic, by the way. That video package that they aired before Mox came to the ring. No, sorry, he didn't come to the ring to kick off the show, did he? It was all in that video, right? Yeah, all in that video with Moxley talking over it.
Sorry, pause. So I have my notes. I also cross-reference them with the guy I always follow on 411 Mania. His name being Thomas Hall of 411 Mania. He's he writes wicked reviews. Nonetheless, he was in attendance for Dynamite. This is what he has to say. And he's not a homer any one way or the other. He writes up how he sees it, right? So he was like, I was in attendance for the show, sitting in the upper deck with the video screen slightly to my right. The audience was very bad, with probably around 2,500 people, though the arena holds over 20,000. Seeing the amount of seats tarped off and the empty made me say, wow, when I first walked in.
Yep. They got to go to smaller venues, man. They got to.
We were just watching TNA, and he said AEW should hold it in venues like this.
Yeah, it looked great.
Until they get their audiences up, that's where they should be at. It's not a bad thing.
No. WWE doing it for the St. Louis.
You know what's a bad thing? You know what a bad thing is? Is having empty fucking seats on TV. That's a bad thing.
And having people show up to the show and take pictures and say, "Oh my God, there's nobody here." It's not a good look. It's not.
And then when he posts those pictures, going, "Why can't we just love wrestling?" It's like,
yeah, shut up, bitch. Anyway,
then in the same breath, post a picture of a production wall at NXT in a performance center
just to try and get a shot back. It's stupid. So John says he didn't enjoy what he did to Danielson, but he had to do what he had to do because Danielson doesn't have the stomach for the game anymore. Says that years ago they set out to create something bigger than themselves. But now that Brian's method of patience and empathy didn't work, Mox has chosen war. The vignette that kicked off the show, that video package, was fucking stellar. And I paused it.
Dude, because I was just in awe of how good Tony Khan wrote that bit for Jon Moxley. So fucking good.
No, he did not write that. Fuck off. Not a chance. That is creative control. That is Mox. I hope and pray.
That was good. 100%. That was amazing.
If Tony Khan wrote that.
No, there's no fucking way. You've seen the shit he writes, and you know what he writes and what he doesn't.
Yeah.
He writes, well, no, Mercedes probably writes her own crappy shit. But anyways, nonetheless. I don't know where I was going. Jon Moxley, when on his game, is one of the best in the game. This was storytelling 101, moving a story along, finishing a story off, explaining everything that happened, explaining what he's going to be doing. It brought it all together. He told why he did what he did to Bryan Danielson, why it had to happen, and now we're moving forward, and why he's been attacking and saying all the shit is because he is taking the company into his control. He's going to be that controlling factor in the company. So fucking good. Jon Moxley on fire. At first, this whole gimmick thing with that first appearance he made a couple weeks ago was like, what are you on, dude? But now it's all coming together. It's like, he's telling a story. He's weaving a fucking story. He's writing Lord of the Rings right now.
100%. After this happens, we get a shot of Darby Allin arriving. And then in the ring, Tony Schiavone interviews Christian Cage in the Patriarchy. Loud music.
Back to back fucking
So the crowd, of course, booing.
This
the
was
heel
this
Christian
was
Cage.
John and Christian going, "Hey Tony, we're gonna show you how we used to do it in WWE."
Yeah, how about you shut the fuck up and let us do this? Loud boos before revealing, he pulls out his Casino Gauntlet contract, guaranteeing him an AEW World Title opportunity at any time. Cage stated that his son Nick Wayne informed him that people felt Cage possesses unlimited aura, is what is said. Cage says that when Killswitch grabbed him by the throat at AEW All In, he noticed a spark in his eyes. A light bulb went off, and he recognized what he needed to be: a monster, wrecking machine, and murderer for Christian Cage. Shivani mentions Cage teases cashing in it All Out. Apparently that happened. Cage stated he was ready to sign the contract and make it official, but it wasn't the time or place. Bryan Danielson's days are numbered, and Cage says he will make Brie wish she were the one with CTE. And then we get a small shot of Kip Sabian ringside towards the end of the segment. Christian Cage cooked here.
Dude's gold. Absolute gold. That line, it's just like, he did not just say that, but he did. Yeah, Cage is top 5 heels all time. Easy.
Yeah, no. The fact that he just walks out in a fucking turtleneck and cuts great promos like that, it's just he's the best.
What's the turtleneck got to do with anything? That's just fucking. He's a heel.
That screams heel. Backstage, we learn that I think with the help of who was it? Don Callis pushing Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher together to compete as a team for the AEW tag team titles, inserting themselves into the main event, which is the tag team gauntlet match for the shot at the tag titles. First match of the night. Took a while to get there, but we finally got a first match of the night for Dynamite, which is awesome. Jack Perry, Leo Rush, and what was a pretty good match. I like Leo Rush, and Jack Perry didn't piss me off in this match. What'd you think?
Perry's more believable in these mid-card matches and winning than he is in any kind of main tier, top tier wrestling status. I could go all day watching Perry do mid-card shit. When he gets involved with Danielson, any of the big, no, I'm not buying this guy as a fucking superstar. He's not. Although it was a good match. Leo Rush is awesome. I kind of hope that they allow him to develop a bit more and kind of run with his Blackheart gimmick a little bit in AEW, because that's probably one of the coolest gimmicks in wrestling.
I haven't seen that pulled out in a while. I know he was doing a lot in New Japan. I don't think he's done it since he signed to AEW. If they get that officially happened, he signed up, but I know he's been on Ring of Honor a lot. But cool seeing him on the main roster. Another great interview moment here. Renee Paquette interviews Hangman Adam Page. Page says he promises to make anyone supper if they've gotten in his way on the road to finishing Swerve Strickland. Jeff Jarrett confronts him and tells him he'll have to reckon with the man in the mirror one day. Jeff Jarrett, by the way, the dude's a talker. I love listening to him talk for some reason. He's just, the way he speaks is pretty damn good. But then a big brawl breaks out and Hangman plays fucking Jeff Jarrett out. What do you think of this one?
That punch looked real.
I know. That's what I was like, Jesus Christ, he's like fucking 60.
Jeff Jarrett is a great talker. I mean, that's that old school wrestler in him, though, where he cuts just a classic promo every time he talks. It's classic. Jeff Jarrett's a legend in the industry. The Jarrett family in itself is a legend in the legends in the industry. I mean, say what you want to say about Jerry Jarrett, which is his father. Bruce Pritchard will say some very unkind things about him, but they ran the Midwest wrestling. His family ran the Midwest wrestling circuit for a lot of years during the 70s and 80s.
Was that
legend.
Jerry
Jarrett, yeah.
Sorry, I'm sending in a text of some sort. Yeah, that brawl happened. Then we get Jon Moxley, Pac, and Claudio Castagnoli. They beat up Commander and Private Party. Pac cuts a promo about how this company is broken.
Another great fucking promo.
Just, and Yeah, having and Moxley's out there, and you think he's gonna talk, doesn't say a word. Pac says all the talking. Yeah, the company's broken, and Pac's like, oh, the company's broken. I'm like, yeah, it is. Don't give a shit, Pac. It's fucking terrible. But yeah, another great promo, and then into another great match. Ricochet, Sammy Guevara. They put on a pretty damn good match here. What do you think of that one?
Well, first, before we get into the match, let's talk about the High Guys license plate on the Bentley that Chris Jericho showed up in.
He did. He did. And I think that wasn't in your news, but he trademarked that.
Oh yeah, Jericho will trademark anything. Oh, I said a word. I'm going to trademark it. Hi guys.
Huh. Can you trademark Hi Guys? Like,
Sure
what is the
can.
trademark? It has to be said in a certain tone or some shit.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get in trouble for doing that?
No, we're not monetizing it. Remember what I said? Actually, I didn't. Because I did say it, but I didn't. But we know I did. But it won't get recorded or shown. Wasn't anything bad. I don't know where I'm going with this. What am I talking about? The video. Thank you. I have conversations with myself. I hear voices in my head. The opening video, as we all saw, had a lot of clips from WWE. If we're not monetizing video and they decide to flag our video, we can't make any money off it, but we don't make any money off it as it is, so it's not a problem. But if we ever get to the point where we can make money off it, I won't be able to have those really cool opening videos. I have to do everything from the top of my head and make my own personal proprietary ideas. Yeah, we can't do that no more either. We can't do anything that's trademarked.
Yeah,
no.
I know. Yeah, but anyway, the match. Ricochet.
I said a lot of words there. I hope they made sense. I don't know if they did, but we're going to move on. We got Ricochet versus Sammy Guevara.
Wait, hold on. I got it. Hold on. Actually, I can do it. I can say all the words you just said real quick. Ready? Right now, no make money. Future, make money. When make money, no cool video. Have to be creative.
Okay, so that goes out to all the AEW neckbeards out there. So you understood what I just said. Kurt,
I got you guys.
Translated it.
I got you
translated guys. It into your language. So
I got you.
You're
guys.
welcome.
Don't worry about it. I'm looking out for you guys. I'll clean mine up.
See, he's got a little.
I'm becoming one of you. Oh God.
I'm turning into one of them. I said I like Dynamite for 1 week and it's happening.
Fuck. What's going on with me? Ricochet, Sammy Guevara. Yeah, they put on a good match here.
What did you expect? I mean, what more do you want to? What did I say about Sam? He's a pretty boy. Like he's just like, you know what I mean? Pretty guy, pretty boy. He's a pretty boy. He's like Shawn Michaels.
You said man. You said pretty man.
Pretty boy, pretty man.
And you said it in a way you're like, it's not like I'm into him in that kind of way. I'm just saying he's like
he wears makeup.
I think the word makeup. Is he's bedazzled himself. No, bedazzled makeup.
Yeah, there we go. No, that's just
he spent an extra 30 minutes at makeup. That's what. Yeah.
Yes, like Shawn Michaels. I'm just a pretty sexy boy.
Sexy boy. Pretty boy. Imagine if the words were pretty boy. That shit would not have got over. I'm just a pretty boy. I'm not your boy. Pretty
See, this
boy.
This is raw and uncut. We won't go back and edit this. Everything I just said will be on the internet because we don't hide. We don't sit behind our keyboards and type WWE. No, we say it live on camera, and we don't cut it. You're gonna hear me say that Sammy Guevara. I can't say his name. Guevara is a pretty boy. What do you want from me?
I'm just a sexy Kurt.
I'm just a pretty boy.
Anyway, the match itself.
Anyways, really that good. Dude wears makeup, okay?
All right, there it is. Yeah, these two are pretty athletic individuals.
It was
put on
really
a great
match.
The Beast Mortos attacked Ricochet after his win, though, which was interesting. So there you go with that. We get some highlights from Willow Nightingale's Chicago Street Fight versus Chris Statlander. You watched the match?
Yes. Probably one of the best women's.
Street
No, I'm
hardcore
not going to
match.
say. I'm not going to. No, probably one of the best women's matches I've ever watched.
Okay, well, apparently I need to go watch it. Need to tune into that. All right. Kazuchika Okada is up next, talking about his AEW title defense from All Out, where he says it was the easiest win of my career. He gets confronted by Konosuke Takeshita. Okada says
You
he
know,
will be
AEW has
champion.
turned him into a joke, and I'm okay with it, honestly.
It's funny though. I do laugh about it. Takeshita Okada says Takeshita will be a champion one day, but not the Continental Champion. Bitch. And he goes off.
I was wondering what the fuck. Oh yeah, that's right, bitch.
And then here we go. Darby Allin comes out and confronts John Moxley. Moxley tries to say that he still likes him, but you need to give me your guaranteed AEW title shot. Darby says, Mox, have you lost your mind, Mox? You okay? Are you drinking again? He says Mox has to earn it. And then it is decided that they will have a match at Grand Slam with the winner challenging Bryan Danielson at AEW Wrestle Dream. I think you had an opinion on this whole segment. I'll let you take the floor here. What did you think of the whole situation here?
I did.
You go. Your turn.
Clue me into what I said, sir.
So you were like, what was the point if Bryan isn't going to defend? But then we learned something later, so it kind of worked it out. I guess I'll just phrase it as this.
No.
Are you okay with this match happening for the shot?
No.
You're not okay with it?
You could have. No, I mean, I feel like you're just pivoting. You wanted to think that Darby was going to be your guy, for whatever reason, and now you're realizing maybe that doesn't actually work that well, which I disagree with. I think Darby could be a fantastic champion, but John Moxley is obviously more in tune with what it takes to be the face of a company in a way as a heel. I don't know. I have not liked the idea of Bryan Danielson just for Tony Khan to get his WrestleMania moment and having him win. Danielson didn't need to win that match to mean anything for his career. It doesn't make his career any better. It doesn't cement his legacy as one of the greatest all time anymore. It just made a really dumb move of you taking it off Swerve and a point that just dumb. So I haven't liked this whole angle of Swerve losing and Danielson winning. And then if he's so injured, and he is legit injured that doctors have told me can't wrestle really, honestly, all that much, or he's going to become a cripple for the rest of his life. So they got to limit it out. They want to get it to Wrestle Dream, but now you got a championship holder that's not even on TV or can't wrestle for, thank God, Wrestle Dreams, where he better lose the title. To either Darby or Moxley or even Nigel on freaking whenever it is.
We'll get to that.
Nigel?
We'll get to that in a minute.
But nonetheless, it's this whole thing is dumb. And I'm not saying Danielson as champion isn't awesome, because it is. He's a legend. He truly is. But at this point in his career, this was a dumb creative move, and this does nothing for Danielson's legacy.
So yeah, that's happening. Then after this, we see.
Why did you have to remind me about how pissed off I was about that? I'd totally forgotten about it.
It's my job.
Fuck you.
That's what I get paid to do.
I just reminded me of how much I hate creative in AEW.
And we're not taking, I agree with what RK is saying, but we're not taking away from the promo itself, because I think Darby and Mox cooked in this promo really well.
Oh, the promo is fine. The whole angle of the whole story is dumb.
Agreed. Nigel tells Crystal Daniels he needs to meet with Tony Khan ASAP. We get an AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator match. Mariah May taking on Queen Aminata. Mariah May picks up the win here. This was the lowest point, I think, of the show. Not the greatest match, but it was okay.
WWE 2K would tell us that a perfect show arc is up,
down,
back,
a little
up.
Low. Yep,
we're right there.
True.
Again, we're into an eliminator match, which just sucked to begin with. One,
not a fan.
If you beat the champion to get a championship title, you already beat them. So why wouldn't you win the title? But if you lose, then it just makes you look weak, like you can't. So why? It's just all dumb all around.
Agreed. We get a Young Bucks hyping up the Casino Gauntlet match vignette. And then Chris Jericho, Big Bill, Brian Keith, they come down to the ring to have a match with the Iron Savages, Bronson Boulder and Jack Jameson. They pick up the win over the local talent here. Well, what matters is afterward, Jericho talks about how Orange Cassidy owes him money still. He's wearing the jacket that's stained with the orange juice that Orange Cassidy spilled on him. But Jericho has Orange's backpack, and he opens it to reveal that Orange still carries around a picture of the best friends from AEW All Out 2023. Cassidy appears on the video wall, and Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly dump a bunch of pennies onto Chris Jericho's car, the new Bentley, the nice light blue Bentley with the Hi Guys logo on it. The best part of this, I think, was Orange reaching in and grabbing a couple of the coins and tossing an actual $1 bill into it. But this is a pretty good laugh right before we get to the main event. Yeah.
WWE did this once back in the day where they poured concrete into a car. Way cooler effect.
Yeah, but it was funnier and it made more sense because of Orange Cassidy being Orange Cassidy.
The whole angle was kind of funny, but this also goes to show that maybe CM Punk did have a positive effect on AEW where they're not destroying rental cars anymore.
It's true. So up next is the big news where Nigel McGuinness enters the ring and says that even though Bryan Danielson has been avoiding him, he has gotten Tony Khan to agree to a match between himself and Bryan Danielson at Grand Slam. So people may have been, if you don't watch AEW regularly, which we watch Dynamite, we don't watch Collision and stuff, but ever since Nigel McGuinness has gotten to AEW, all he has done is trash talk Bryan Danielson.
It goes all the way back to
Ring of Honor
their time in Ring of Honor.
Yep. There's the beef there between the two. Nigel's gotten back in shape. He showed up at the All Out or All In, whatever. He was in London, and he was in a special appearance in the Gauntlet match. So Nigel's in shape, and he's going to have a go. It'll be Nigel versus Bryan Danielson at Grand Slam. You have a question, sir?
I do. John Moxley told Darby Allin that Bryan Danielson couldn't wrestle at Grand Slam. And that's why Moxley was going to have the match with Allin to determine who's going to wrestle Bryan Danielson at Wrestle Dream. But now Nigel McGuinness has a match with Bryan Danielson at Grand Slam.
It has been said that if Bryan Danielson is cleared, he can go and have the match with Nigel.
That doesn't fix the fucking logistical problem of the situation here, okay?
It's wrestling.
If he cannot go, if so, we can pivot day before. Why are we pivoting 2 weeks before? And still having potentially a match that you have another match up because the other guy can't go in a match. But if he goes in a match, then that original situation of the guy having the match with the guy not having the match with the guy that's having the match, who's now having the match with a different guy for a different shot at a different match at a different time. It makes no sense. See how confusing that just was, what I just said? That's exactly what we have going on here. Yeah, see? Exactly. Confusing. Your brain hurts right now, right? My brain hurts.
I'm just going to move on. Hook challenges Roderick Strong to a match in a vignette. That happened. But let's go ahead and dive into this tag team casino gauntlet match. I'm going to just run through the teams that showed up in this. We had Top Flight, Undisputed Kingdom, The Righteous, The Outrunners, The Acclaimed, Eminem Collection, Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay, aka I guess we could call them the United Empire. They were buddies when the United Empire, when Will was there. It's still a thing, but Will's gone.
I think he's still technically the leader, though.
No, he handed over leadership to TJP.
Oh, he did? Okay. When did that happen?
When he left.
He did?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did we watch?
Yeah, we watched the match. His final match.
He handed it over.
Yeah, it was already. We didn't watch. Let me rephrase. We didn't watch the video of him saying it to TJP. You know, this is yours now. But I remember. I remember watching it.
So I did.
Sorry, but I do remember them mentioning it during the match, but fuck, we watched that match forever ago. But TJP.
Good match.
Yeah. Anyway, Kyle
Who
Fletcher
was handcuffed to the cage like the whole fucking time?
Fuck, that one dude. Shit. It was one
That was
of
a good match.
It was one of United Empire. Honestly, I'd be down to watch that match again too.
That was a good match.
Anyway, Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay, they pin. They got the win here. Over all those teams I just named, very interesting. They'll be taking on the Young Bucks at Grand Slam in 2 weeks. What'd you think of that? With it being Will and Kyle Fletcher. Just felt like there was something maybe else Will could have been doing, defending his title maybe.
Yeah, that put into perpetually mid-card booking for some weird reason. And also clusterfuck of matches like this never work, and this one didn't. It had a lot of crazy spots as you'd expect, but in no world am I going to believe that out of the 8 tag teams that went into this match, at any given point, only 2 tag teams would be in the ring wrestling while the other 6 on the outside dead. At no point am I going to actually believe that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
Matches like this, yeah, they're fun and they look cool, but they're just clusterfucks and they don't work well. Yeah, that's about it.
I'm intrigued to see. I don't know if they win. Do you think they beat the Bucks? You think they do that?
No. Maybe. It seemed a really weird path to go with Ospreay.
It just, yeah, but they put a lot of gold on him, I guess. I don't know. No, they're not gonna beat the Bucks. No, they won't.
Hey, if a guy only ever wins the Intercontinental title and the tag team title, but never wins the big gold, is he a legend?
I don't think
exactly.
So. I don't think so. Well, that's a wrap on what was probably the best Dynamite in a couple months.
It was really good.
Really good start to finish. Action was pretty good. The promos, the vignettes were great. With that being said, we're going to get things over to SmackDown. And, RK, you got to change things because I'm going to put it up real quick. We got a new logo for SmackDown. Here it is right here on our screen. They updated the logo. What do you think of this new SmackDown logo that I have put on our faces?
I mean, if we weren't going to get flagged before, we definitely are now. To all the people saying, what's Smackdown? Get lost. This is a cool fucking logo. It's beautiful. I looked at it for hours. Actually, we could keep this up for the rest of the show, and I'd be thinking that's an awesome looking logo.
I'll just talk like this the whole time. So anyway, what happened with SmackDown? Wait, hold on, can I get the...
Anyways, get rid of
that. I wanted to throw that in real quick. What does this look like? Oh, it's just in the background. Okay, cool. Anyway, SmackDown. This is the debut, new logo, new fun. This is the first episode on the USA Network from Seattle, Washington. We kick things off. I think they said 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes of the show are going to be commercial free, and we kick things off with a banger. Not the match, sir. No. Triple H comes out to the ring and welcomes the crowd. It's always cool seeing Triple H's entrance. I don't give a shit. It's awesome. Anytime he shows up.
It's kind of wild to forget. I watched the first show.
Oh yeah, you said that.
Kind of wild
you watched it.
Very for sure, I watched it. It's kind of wild to think that Triple H was in the main event of that very first episode against The Rock.
Insane. Look how far we've come. That's a good song, by the way. Anyway.
Matchbox 20?
Matchbox 20? I think so.
Yeah, it's Matchbox.
Me and my dad set I told him this is totally random, but this is what we do here. When I was growing up, my dad had this blue CD binder.
Yeah, we do random things like talk about Pretty Boys, which is I'm going to bring that up again. He's just a pretty boy.
Pretty boy. So I'm going to pull my phone up real quick. So I
He's just a pretty boy. He's no boy toy. That doesn't work. That just it can't work. It doesn't work. Or does it? Actually, the original song doesn't work
story.
either.
Good God,
the original song doesn't even work. He's just a sexy boy. He's not a boy toy.
You're really stuck on this. You're really stuck on this pretty boy thing.
Well, I mean,
anyway, you brought up Matchbox 20.
A lot of makeup. Very, very flawed. There's no person on the face of the planet that has flawless skin like that. Okay. I'm making Kurt lose his mind as per usual, and I love it.
Anyway, the Matchbox 20 reference. I used to steal my dad's CDs out of his blue binder, and I finally actually admitted it to him earlier this week because he went and grabbed it out of the garage, and he started going through it. He's like, "Oh, so there's where all these went," and just went down the list of good music. He's like, "Yeah, music today sucks." I'm like, "All right." And he's like going through his CDs of like Fleetwood Mac. He had a Fleetwood Mac. I don't know. Chicago.
There's no way your dad's old enough to know that music.
No, but that was a song like.
My dad was alive when that shit was. Your dad.
No, I'm saying he listened to it. But it's like 45.
Yeah, no, he was listening to like Ace of Base in the 90s and shit, man.
Chicago, Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, there it goes. Hootie and the Blowfish. That sounds more like age timeline accurate.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. Pearl Jam. Here Without You by Three Doors Down came up. Eddie Vedder music, which obviously.
So he grunge early 90s is.
And then he switched, and he's like, well, then also I had the Tupac CD. I had the
early 90s
Bone Thugs and Harmony 365.
Early 90s. You can name any band from the early 90s, and he's gonna be like, "That's a banner." Just like if you name any band from late 90s, I'm gonna be like, "That's a fucking banner." And if I name any band from 7 years ago, you'd be like, "That's a fucking banner."
Anyway, Matchbox 20 is one of my favorite bands.
I say Drake, and you'll lose your fucking mind. Drake.
Why would I lose my mind about Drake?
Because you love him.
No, I don't.
You think he's better than Kendrick?
Well,
who's halftime in the Super Bowl this year?
Kendrick. I saw the set list already. He's gonna play Not Like Us 6 times.
And it's warranted.
No, I'm a country music guy. Anyway, let us get into it. The first match, commercial free for the first 30 minutes. The undisputed WWE Championship match, Steel Cage between Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa. Cody picks up the win. Before we get to the finish and all that good stuff, what spots in this match stood out to you?
Okay, well, there was the Cody cutter off the top third of the cage, which was wild.
Yeah.
There was a moment there where I thought for sure he was going to do a moonsault off the top of the cage.
You said that before the match even like really started. You're like, yeah, we might need to cut this video and send it to me. If he jumps off the top of this cage and does a moonsault. And then when he went up there, I'm like, shut the fuck up. He's actually going to do it.
I thought for sure, but he just went with the crossbody instead, which was still insane.
Still crazy.
Jacob Fatu doing what Jacob Fatu does. Like
the bloodline.
Everything about this was probably one of Solo's best matches, period.
Yeah. So yeah, the bloodline does come out to attack Cody after the match, but Roman Reigns is back. He makes his return to make the save, calls out, and the best part was him staring down Jacob Fatu and calling him into the ring. But Fatu doesn't get a chance to go after Roman because Solo pulls him out. Reigns and Rhodes.
Remember when all the dirt sheets said that they're going to keep Jacob and Roman far, far away from each other?
Oh, yeah. And then they pranced him out there in a boot and said, fuck them.
And now he's got Roman calling him in and Solo's removing him from it.
Yep. Anyway, Rhodes and Reigns lay out the GOD as Solo and Jacob watch from the ramp. We'll get more on that situation here in just a second. But before we do that, it's Michin taking on Piper Niven. Michin picks up the win here, but afterwards, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven attack her, and Chelsea hits the unprettier through a trash can on Michin, standing tall over Mia Yim. What'd you think of that match, or just the finish? Mainly Chelsea Green.
Oh, 2 minutes long. Chelsea Green's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, disregard all that. There was something that happened on social media after the fact. There's talks of there's gonna be a dumpster match between these two, Mishin and Chelsea Green.
Chelsea. Okay, let's see. Is it a casket?
I would pull up.
Is it like a casket match? Gotta close it.
Yeah, you throw them dumpster, you close it.
Okay.
They've done them before. I know they have.
Yeah, they have. Now that my mind's starting to go.
Mick Foley's been in a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, unless I don't know, I think it was on WWE's Twitter. Honestly, I came across it, glanced at. There's nothing set, but it's gonna happen in the future.
Mm-hmm. Kevin Owens comes to the ring for his match where he's taking on A-Town Down Under. He has a mystery partner.
Whoa,
what?
Stop.
What?
I do this every week. You just gotta expect it. Rob Van Dam's in the crowd. Vicky Guerrero's in the crowd. Gunther and Ludwig are in the crowd. Ludwig did not look impressed at all about being there. Rob Van Dam and Vicky Guerrero are they both were recently in AEW. Guerrero not so much. She's been a while for Guerrero, but she was like a manager for.
The IWC lost their shit with WWE with Vicky Guerrero being on TV. Apparently, there's a situation I don't know about it. She's basically disowned her daughter, who called her stepfather, Vicky's husband, out for abusing her, and Vicky defended him and has ousted her daughter or something like that.
Is there proof?
I haven't looked up into proof, but it was everywhere over people that I've seen, and they're not fucking absolute idiots. It was legit WWE fans, and I was like, I did not know that. So I haven't looked into it, but I may do it after this just to double check on that. But yeah,
I think if there was any substantiated reports of any of that being true, WWE wouldn't touch it.
I would. That's what I thought too. But oh no, who knows? Let's talk about Ricky.
What about Ricky?
So Kevin Owens, after A-Town Down Under make their entrance, Kevin Owens comes to the ring, grabs the microphone, and introduces his tag team partner as a wrestler named Ricky. It is a bald man that comes out and it's very hairy. His partner couldn't make it, so he had to settle for Ricky.
Like George the Animal Steel, hairy.
Like, he was hairy. Ricky's hyped. He's ready to go. He's got Kevin's back. But the producer ringside runs up and says, Kevin, he made it. He made it. Kevin says, oh, he made it. And then hits Ricky with a stunner. And then Randy Orton returns to SmackDown and will be Kevin Owens.
Honestly, when he came out, all I could picture in my mind is like, fuck, they should have got that Jack Vaughn guy to do that spot.
Yes. I love Jack Vaughn.
That would have been awesome.
He's awesome. But yeah, Ricky eats the stunner. And then as I mentioned post-match, he's hanging out with Randy and Kevin backstage, grabbing his neck. And, they're like, shout out to Ricky. Sorry. He's like, did you have to stun me, though? He's like, yeah, sorry about that, man. We're going to have some drinks. Kevin looked at Randy. Have you seen this? And Kevin looked at Randy and said, can Ricky come? Can Ricky come? And they go party on Randy Orton's bus. So Ricky probably just had the night of his life, to be honest. Nice. His followers on Twitter have multiplied. So,
well, yeah, you're gonna get the rub.
And he's a legit wrestler. Him and his tag team partner Ricky and I don't know the other guy. But anyway, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton take on A-Town Down Under.
They're legit. Ricky and someone I don't
know their tag team. Ricky's legit. KO and Randy Orton, of course, they're gonna pick up the win over A-Town Down Under here via RKO. What'd you think of the match? Meh.
It's just
the usual.
It's just the usual. It's what you expect. There was no surprise in who was winning this match. I need the Grayson Waller full heel turn on Austin Theory, make him a babyface. Let's just have that happen already. I just think they're delaying on it because they probably don't have any creative for them on both on singles runs. But they want to do it. They're teasing it, but they're not pulling the trigger.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you know what? Just because I want you to watch this. I want you to watch this, and the people volume should be good for you here. Here we go.
So I didn't think you'd be there. I thought all this wouldn't let me fight those two alone again. Right. So I'm like, okay, let's go. Who can be my partner? I asked Booker T. Because he's still upset from when a few years ago I was talking bad about Texas.
Yeah, I remember that.
He holds a grudge, it turns out. Then I asked RBD, and he said, I'm sorry, I'm already on another planet. Which was, I didn't know what he meant because he was standing right in front of me.
I know.
You know, okay, I don't know. But and then here's Ricky. Ricky overheard, stepped up and said, I'll be your partner. That's who Ricky is. The only one who's man enough to step up. Speaking of, there he is. Hey, man, thanks a lot for that.
The only guy,
the only one.
The whole building that stepped up.
I really appreciate that. Did you have to stun me? Okay, that's on me. I got a little excited once I heard Randy was here. But I apologize. But still, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Thanks for stepping up. Ricky from Seattle.
Ricky from Seattle.
I love it.
The only Ricky that matters.
Yeah.
You want to? Your bus out there.
My bus is out.
Want to go on, Red? Can I invite him?
Well, RVD is actually on that other planet. RVD is
it's your bus. I'm going to ask him what he meant. Can Ricky come?
Ricky, you're invited to come to the Planet Randy's bus.
All right. That's Planet Randy. That sounds like a hoot.
Way to go, Ricky.
What did wrong?
Way to go.
They're all getting very high on that bus.
Let's just be honest. That is just Kevin Owens is fucking hilarious.
Kevin Owens great. He's hilarious.
There was Ricky. If you wanted to see what Ricky looked like, in a nice little fun backstage segment there with Randy and all them. My favorite part was I tried to get Booker T, but he's still mad about me talking about Texas. I guess he holds a grudge. But yeah, that was pretty good.
I got to ask Rob Van Dam, but he said he was on our planet, which I don't understand because he was standing right in front of me.
And Randy's like,
I get it.
And he's like, I'm gonna go ask him what he meant about that. I didn't get that. Anyway, let's carry on here. Kathy Kelly is interviewing Nick Aldis, who reveals that Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu have challenged Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns for bad blood. Cody Rhodes interrupted this and said he was done with the bloodline and had no intention of signing that contract. Aldis said he would go speak with Roman Reigns.
That's beautiful. Good job, Cody.
Yeah.
Way to stick to your guns. Put your foot down. Make it known.
Yeah, for sure. WWE champion Nia Jax cuts a women's WWE champion. Nia Jax cut a promo where she revealed she would have to defend. What?
Booker T was there. Queen Charnel. Sheamus was there. Michael Hayes was there. Do.
He didn't say that.
He totally does say that. He didn't until Bruce Pritchard started saying it, and now apparently Michael Hayes says it all the time.
Nia Jax cuts promo. She's revealing she has to defend her title at Bad Blood. Jax says she didn't care who should be the challenger, but promised she would annihilate them. Bayley interrupts and demands a rematch for her title and questions the friendship with Tiffany Stratton that Jax has. Stratton interrupts and says Bayley was jealous that she had to ask for a shot at the title. Bayley, of course, being Bayley, instigates a fight with Jax and in between, basically splitting Tiffany and Jax apart. Bayley being perfect at instigating here. But Jax doesn't see it, turns back on Bayley. Naomi interrupts and says it was time she held some gold. Jax suggested a match with herself and Stratton against Bayley and Naomi for a title match at Bad Blood, which Bayley and Naomi accepted. However, Jax said that whoever lost would leave SmackDown permanently. Stratton tried to attack Bayley, but Naomi caught her with the hip attack. So I was kind of confused when this whole thing happened. But now I'm not.
They want Bayley on Raw.
You think so?
Yep, for Netflix.
Ooh. So you think Tiffany and Nia win?
Yep, they want Bayley on Raw for Netflix.
Bayley eats the pin and she leaves SmackDown?
She wants they want to stack their Raw roster for Netflix.
That's fair.
They're gonna find a way to get Roman over there too, guaranteed.
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah. Surprised they wouldn't want Cody. But
Cody, you can't just drop
everybody.
SmackDown
everybody.
So they got to figure out strategically what's going to work. Bayley makes sense. Roman makes sense. Let Cody run SmackDown. You don't need Cody. Right. Let Cody run SmackDown. You don't need anybody else overshadowing him.
Kathy Kelly speaks with Nick Aldis, who reveals that Roman Reigns will address the situation in the ring later tonight. Andrade Carmelo Part 5. Andrade picks up the win here and wins the best of 5 series. These two, man. What'd you think of the match? Do you think?
I could watch another 22 matches with these two. They're so fucking good.
Yep. They know each other very well, complement each other. Winner was Andrade. LA Knight appears on the ramp. It says Andrade had just won the sweepstakes of the hit it and quit it sweepstakes, and was now the number one contender. Knight said it comes in. Wait, what?
You have Fightful again?
Yeah. Knight said that it comes in being beaten by the megastar a week from the night. I don't know. And LA Knight, Andrade next week, SmackDown, United States title. The hit it and quit it sweepstakes, as LA Knight keeps saying. Are you interested in this match? Could be a good one.
Yes.
Could be a good one. I don't know if LA Knight loses, but
I don't think so, but it's gonna be a banner match.
Before we get to the final, by the way, the Andrade Carmelo match was technically the main event, final match of the night. No matches followed. Byron Saxton interviews women's tag champs Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. They get interrupted by Tiffany and Nia, where Jax told them something would happen to Naomi if she kept getting in her business. We close the show with Roman Reigns and SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis to talk business ahead of Bad Blood. Aldis is talking. Roman puts his hand out like he normally does, and Nick Aldis hands him the contract. And Roman, no, give me the mic. This is the first time we've heard Roman talk since a SmackDown before WrestleMania.
Yeah,
that's crazy. He does talk and says, despite not having the undisputed title or his Ulafala, this was still his company. It was still his ring. It was still his fans. This led to Cody Rhodes interrupting and basically said it was your company, but that all changed at WrestleMania. There's a stare down, and they're interrupted by the Bloodline. So let's go and Jacob Fatu on the ramp. The GOD attempt to attack Reigns and Cody, but they got laid out. Roman signs the contract, and Cody also puts his hand out and signs the contract. They did not seem that they wanted to do this match together, but it is happening. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns tag teaming together. How will they coexist? Taking on Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa at Bad Blood. I'm not a big fan of this decision.
How will they coexist? It's not like they're enemies anymore. I don't like this though.
I understand Roman is a face right now. I get that, but it's still the same Roman. There's nothing different.
It is. No.
The way he was talking, it's still Roman.
Just natural transition of what he's going up against right now.
Still the rivalry there. But what'd you think?
Everything about it's good. I don't like the angle. I really think Cody Rhodes should be done with the bloodline shit. He's proven more than often. He won the title. He's beaten Roman. He's beaten Solo. He's done it all. Well, right. Let him move on. And that's where I said earlier, saying Roman transition to Raw makes sense because Cody needs a feud because he hasn't had a feud.
No, and I'm over. I don't mean this in a bad way, but I think you'll agree with me. Kind of over Cody in the Bloodline.
100%. It's done. And it should be done. Hopefully whatever this tag team match does ends it, but it probably won't.
I think it will, actually. Because Cody may go off and do his own thing. Because I think it's going to lead to our Survivor Series OG Bloodline, new Bloodline match. That,
hopefully. I hope Cody's not involved with it. I really don't. I really do.
Please, for the love of God. Yeah, I agree with
that. Let Cody. Let's build him a proper feud for WrestleMania. Not that I'm upset. He's been putting on banner matches. He's not been putting on bad matches. Good matches.
We still got a while. Till Mania.
They need to get something started.
Yeah, I mean, we building to Royal Rumble. We'll see. I don't know who it is going to be. That's the thing.
Nonetheless, they need to figure something out for Cody that's not bloodline related, and not just a match at a pay-per-view because he needs to defend his title.
Right. Agreed. But overall, good.
Can we also point out the fact that this might have been the first time that Cody Rhodes hasn't done his woe in his entrance in a long, long fucking time? That just shows how serious he was.
Oh, yeah. When he came to the ring the second time. He did it the first time. Don't worry. He did it.
Not the second time. He was serious.
Yeah,
is
he
in
was locked
game
in.
mode.
With that being said, that wraps up SmackDown. That wraps up all the shows from this past week. Got to close things out with the usual, though. We'll start with show of the week. RK, what was your show of the week from the ones we just went through? I'm going to say it at the same time. We'll say it. You want to say it at the same time?
I feel like I gotta take a shit, man. Oh, I feel so
3,
ill.
2, 1.
Dynamite.
Fuck.
That hurt. That really hurt. They did put on the best show, quality wise.
They did. It was a
Entertainment
damn
wise,
good show.
start to finish, it was not boring for a
Nope.
second.
Dynamite did really well this week.
I gotta elaborate. It wasn't boring for a second. They did miss on some of their ideas, but the fact that they still made it entertaining throughout those misses is impressive.
Agreed. With that being said, what wrestler stood out for you as your wrestler the past week?
He didn't wrestle, but fuck, his promos were on point. Jon Moxley.
Yeah, I actually was thinking the same thing for Moxley, but I'm going to be biased and say Julia. It's great to see her in a WWE ring. That was just, it's awesome. The fact that she's legit in WWE and she actually had a match, and a good match at that with Chelsea Green. But the fact that now we're just waiting on Stephanie McCourt. And that NXT Women's Division, man, on fire. But yeah, I'm going to go Julia just because she's officially in NXT, had her first match. That being said, that was this week in wrestling. We have big plans moving forward. This was fun, and it's good to be back. I had a week off, but shouldn't be missing any more weeks going forward unless you never know. Life happens, but we're going to kick this thing into full gear here, and I have some fun with it. Do you have any final words, RK, for the lovely people?
If we move our show to a smaller arena, we'll be a 5-star show.
Yeah, got to get out of the Tokyo Dome. With that being said, I'm Kurt. That is RK. We'll wrap things up at episode 21 of This Week in Wrestling. We'll talk to you guys next week with episode number
He's just
22.
a pretty boy. He's not your boy toy.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Talk to you guys next week.